Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Scotty Pablo in the Big O Show. O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, man. That's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the woman's in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary.
A lot of conversation, justifiably so, is focused on the calls on both ends here. But Miami, by and large, was the better team on the floor in this game again. And the key for them, Tim, was what?
Well, the two things they do better than any team in the league, and critical defensively, help and recover, and they never miss the open man. And if you just do that, right, you're going to win a lot of games. That's why I admire this team so much.
Spoken like a coach.
I love watching them play, and I see so much of the teams I coached before trying to do some of these things. And here's the first thing, that's just commitment to game plan, right? What do you know about Giannis? He comes off the floor. You're talking about building that wall. That's about as wall-like as you're going to get against Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he picks it up and he gives it up. But lots of little things that you might not even notice. After he passes it, he thinks he can just go ahead and step to it and catch it and play. But watch the work of Jay Crowder. Denies him not once, but twice. And then what that's ultimately going to do, it's going to make Giannis go ahead and clear out. And it sets the tone for the entire sequence. So here's the first to now, second to now. Okay, now we got to go over here. And now Bledsoe's going to get the basketball, turn the corner. I talk about help and recover. Watch what they do on this play. It's a great bluff by Jimmy Butler. He's going to fake it, knowing he's got shooter, and it makes Bledsoe freeze, and he stumbles a little bit. And that sets the whole tone for these next two guys on the edge of the lane. They come down, rake down, high hands, get a steal.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty, yeah, we got them looking all over the casino. They're not used to it in the first floor. They got used to it in the second floor.
What in the hell is that crazy bastard doing over there?
That's exactly it. Yep. You just heard there from Tim Legler as he's talking Heat.
You think Tim likes this man?
I think so. I mean, well, listen, right now, if you don't like it, I mean, the guys on TNT were changing their tune after the game last night. Like, I think Miami now is going to win it, that kind of deal. And I think a lot of people are seeing that because they're seeing the matchup problems that Milwaukee is having with our beloved Miami Heat. And, Legler talking about the defense and how they made things hard on Giannis because you cannot allow him to just run all over you. If you do, the game's over because then he can actually take over. Don't let him do the things he's comfortable. Force him to do the things he's uncomfortable. And that's what's going on. And what I love about all of this is, and listen, I don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. No media member really knows if it's going to happen. Only Giannis and his agent are the people that actually know deep down inside what they're feeling and what they're expecting. And what I mean by Miami, they are now having an opportunity to send a message to Giannis that, hey, Milwaukee is not the place for you, dude. You know what I mean? You don't have enough there. And yes, you want to stay in the small town and you're not a media, hog and all that stuff. And Giannis isn't. Giannis is a blue-collar freak, is what he is. And see, the thing that I love about this entire, when people tell you, well, he can't shoot, and yeah, he's not a great shooter. They're right about that. But let me ask you something. Who turned Chris Bosh into a three-point shooter? The Miami Heat. Who told LeBron James, hey, we need you to start playing with your back to the basket because that's going to open it up for everybody else, and we need you to work on your post game. And LeBron became a much better post player here, and he added that to his repertoire, right? So while that was included, what do you think they would do with Giannis here? You think Giannis would improve his shooting? You think Duncan Robinson's improved his shooting? Tim Hardaway. Dwayne Wade improved his shooting because Eric Spoelstra worked with the man. You know what I mean? And so everybody, bum-ass Whiteside was an absolute washout and a nobody. He's still a bum-ass, but the Heat got the max out of him. They got the max out of James Johnson. He was a journeyman backup player, and he played his best basketball of his entire career right here. Okay? Even, Mr. Philly cheesesteak there, what's it called? He's now with the Lakers. He played 29 magical games with Dragon and never was able to match that entire stretch ever again before and after his career. You know what I mean? So I don't need to keep explaining how many people have improved their game here in Miami because, the lazy take is, well, he's kind of limited, he's no, dude, no. He's not a great shooter, but you can make him a better shooter. Will you make him Steph Curry? No. Will he become Duncan Robinson? No. But if you watch his stroke, it's there. It's just got to be fine-tuned. And that's what they would do here. And I think Giannis would become an even better player here with the Miami Heat. So not only are you in the process of eliminating Milwaukee, and you're halfway there, you won 2, you got to win 2 more, and let's see if they can do it. Nothing's granted, nothing's money in the bank. But if you do it, it's going to go a long way that you had your moments when you were in the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, and Jimmy and other guys had moments where they could talk to Giannis, and now you're the team that eliminates him. So now Jimmy Butler can pick up the phone in the offseason and say, yo, man, sorry about what happened, but I got to tell you, man, when your free agency is up, you got to think of us. We're the team that's going to get you over the hump. We add you, and we're a champion. And if he looks at the Heat right now and says, well, the Heat's better than us already without me, if they add me, and if you look at the track record, Isaac Austin comes here, weighs 300 pounds, loses a human being, ends up playing well, gets a new contract. That might be a little old for some of you young people already to bring up that reference. But my point is, this has been going on under Riley for 25 years. I don't care who you are, if you're Keon Dooling or you're Eric Murdoch or the aforementioned James Johnson and all those other cats. You will play your best basketball here. Okay? If you're Kendrick Nunn, you got to kiss the ground you're walking on, then you've got this staff and this organization to mold you. Same thing with Duncan Robinson, same thing with Tyler Hero, same thing that we've watched Bam Adebayo grow every single year. And so this whole thing becomes hopefully a recruiting tool, because that's where Giannis, who wants to win, will sit back and say, I like it here in Milwaukee. I like the guys I'm playing with. I like the front office. It's a quiet town. It's my kind of place, but can I win? Or am I in the same place Chris Bosh was at where he couldn't recruit anybody to Toronto? They still can't recruit people to Toronto. They've got to trade for them. Okay? Am I going to be in the same place that LeBron James was at in Cleveland? That he could not recruit anybody there. If they drafted him, then they got lucky. If they could trade for them, they got lucky. But they weren't going to get anybody to choose to go over there. Okay? Anthony Davis was not going to join him in Cleveland. He'll join him in Miami. He'll join him in L.A., but he ain't joining him in Milwaukee. And I think that, and again, listen, for anybody listening to me in the Wisconsin area and Milwaukee, nothing personal, but it's a problem for Milwaukee. It's a problem for Utah. It's a problem for Indiana. It's a problem for a lot of teams that aren't considered desirable cities for young players. These young guys that got money, they want to be in the ATL. They want to be in Miami. They want to be in Chicago. They want to be in New York. They want to be in LA. You know what I mean? Now, I know New York, the Knicks are a mess, but the Nets are getting it. And because they're in that town, the Nets are now the team that's moving ahead instead of the Knicks. I know Chicago sucks, but it's a great town for a young person because it's a big market. It's up to Chicago to figure it out, but when they do, they'll have players lined up, just like New York. New York can't recruit anybody either. Now, if they ever figure out winning, then they'll get people to go. You know, remember the tireless story of all the idiot New Yorkers that we would get over the years? Oh, everybody wants to play in the Mecca. Yeah, well, nobody's played in the Mecca. Why? Because you suck. You know, this whole thing of notion of, oh, no, people want to play in New York. No, they don't. They don't want to play there. If you suck, they're not going to go play there. And so that's what it's all about. So he has to decide if Miami is able to finish this out, this will be another disappointment for Milwaukee after working your ass off all regular season. And this will be one of those where you're like, oh, crap. And so Miami is doing double duty here, okay? If they're able to get past this second round, which would be, I had them finishing here. Here's where I had them ending. I said it from the get-go. I expect them to get past the first round, but the second round is probably where I think they would end. Well, they're going to surpass that if they're able to eliminate Milwaukee. But more importantly, they will put the kind of doubt into Giannis's head that will maybe, just maybe, set Miami up to acquire him in the next offseason. Be pretty cool, man. I got to tell you. Be absolutely fantastic if they're able to do that. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. If you want to get in on the text line, several texts coming in. Let's see. Remember, you said UM baseball would never be able to recruit due to the scholarships. Well, guess who just had a number one class? Yeah, they have done a great job of turning things around. I know during this whole COVID thing, that's kind of almost helped them in recruiting and keeping some guys local. But they have done an awesome, considering they have, buying a half scholarship at UM and at Florida State and at Florida, it's a hell of a lot more affordable to go to those places, obviously, than the University of Miami. I personally am shocked that they're able to now, one thing is having the class. Next thing is now getting back to, the College World Series and becoming another, like a national championship type team. You know what I mean? That would be absolutely amazing if they're able to do that. Let's see, what else do we have here? He playing outstanding basketball, opening with the sweep. Bring on the Bucks. Okay. I think that might have been slightly old. Last night, an idiot And one of my Penn State fans from reply to my comment by giving me the CDC definition of crushing the curve and that we are now below the level of a pandemic. So I politely shared with him over 54,000 new cases and over 1,000 new deaths yesterday alone. Those were the stats from the CDC website. I never heard back from him. You know why, dude? Because it might be that they got under the threshold in where he's at. Okay? Like Miami, like South Florida is now starting to lower that number, but we still had almost 1,100 deaths yesterday. You know what I mean? So we're far from it. I posted a tweet the other day, and I showed you the climbing cases in South Dakota and North Dakota. And the deaths. It was 0, maybe 1 every day, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. North Dakota had 4 yesterday. Okay? You know, it's a great, the Sturgis bike rally is, and think about this, South Dakota and North Dakota are spread out as hell. They're not New York City. You know, because I always love how people turn this thing around politically and they say, well, look at Cuomo and look what he did with New York City. Dude, it didn't matter who was charged in New York City. If you're in a New York City area, you know, if you're in Mexico City, if you're in Hong Kong, if you're in one of those incredibly heavily populated cities that they just live on top of each other because it's all skyscrapers and they're all taking, you know, the same type of public transportation and all of that, it had nothing to do with politics. New York was the only city in our country that's like that. And if you have a pandemic, they're the ones that are going to be the leading dogs of it. Why? Because they are on top of each other like nothing else. We have more congestion than North Dakota and South Dakota. So if it spreads in an area where you're completely spread out, can you imagine in our place? And then can you imagine when you take it to the next level and you go to New York City and you go to Mexico City and you go to, you know, Rio de Janeiro or, you know, those kind of cities that have millions of people, okay? Like we have 5 million in our Tri-County area. New York City alone has 12 million or 14, I think. Something stupid. It's like ridiculous. Like Mexico City, I want to say it's like 21, 22 million. Nuts. When you have pandemic in those kind of, oh my God, it's going to spread. You know, had nothing to do with, oh no, you know, Cuomo was the worst. Well, Cuomo was in a terrible situation because if you have a pandemic in any of those kind of places, I don't care who you are, bro, it's gonna be a disaster.
Whenever you say those numbers like that, you know what's the first thing that comes to my head? Crocodile Dundee and him being like,
right,
wow, 15 million. These must be wonderful people. They just all want to live together.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Just look at the Dakotas after Sturgis, and they were like, you know, 50, 60, 70 cases a day. Now they're in the hundreds. And that's, you know, for the people that don't believe in it and all that crap. And, you know, what are you going to do, man? It is what it is. Let's see what we got here on the chat board. Super Boom Shack. Boom. He's number 1. Checks in for the afternoon show. Gus 1388 is back. Julius 305. Omar Lopez. Tommy in Hialeah. Tommy, yeah, you can come by the casino and see us if you want to come by, man. You can walk right up to us here. So that we have a whole area to ourselves. We're away from everybody. So you can come in, wear your mask. They won't let you in without it. And
we're actually parked on the dance floor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we are. And the you know, the funny part is that they used to say that there was no parking baby on the dance floor, but we are doing it. Okay, I'm just saying. Was it Cameo? No parking baby, no parking on the dance floor. Was it them? Was it Cameo? Is it Cameo or was that the Daz Band? No, I don't think it was the Daz. I want to say it was Cameo. Maybe. I'll guess Cameo for no parking. Excuse me, ladies. There's no parking on the dance floor. No, it's not Cameo. It's definitely not Cameo.
Midnight Star.
There you go. There you go. Because I'm listening to the voices in my head of
No
the song.
stopping, baby.
And it's
No parking on the dance
and
floor.
it's definitely not Cameo. I remember that now. So yes, Tommy, you can come on by. You can make a cameo and drop off something if you want to do that. How about that? Raging Dolphin Maniac is in the house. Let's see. What else do we have? Dougie Fresh says, Big O Part 2 live from the interrogation room at Hialeah Park Casino, where all card counters are brought to justice. I hope the phone lines aren't so busy here, too. I never get through. I love it. Matthew Walker is in the house. Yes, Dion Waiters. That's it. That is Philly cheesesteak. Let's see. What else do we have here? Alexa V, the president, has checked in. Donald Peterson is in. I wonder if Giannis would pull a LeBron and run back to Milwaukee to win for the city. If Grecia had a team, then maybe. But since Grecia doesn't have a NBA team, Greece is out of luck. Okay? Let's see. The freak can get his game elevated here. That's what Tommy says. Exactly, man. I'm telling you.
Don't they on the beach have like a little section that's Greek? Like a couple blocks, and they have, you know, on Miami Beach. I know
There's
it's
like a little
40,
Greece.
like 41st somewhere, Alton, you know, down in that area.
That would be news to me, dude. I don't know anything about that.
No?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that there isn't.
Yeah.
I'm saying I have no idea.
I want to say there's
Never
like
heard of
a
it.
grocery store and a deli, and, you know, there's like a little string, you know, a little block or
Okay.
so. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew.
You can feel right at home, man.
New York City Kane is telling us Spain versus Germany at 2:45. I like it. Just tuned in, Big O. Did you see this? And I don't know what you're telling me. Hank Goldberg's left nut. I don't know what you're saying. What's this? Let's see. New York Sports goes. I'm in New York as well, and Sports Radio New York sucks. Sage McKinley, Sage had it. He got Midnight Star. So did Man of 1,005 Holds. Samuel Robina says Big O Schefter has reported the Dolphins have fielded trade inquiries. We talked about that with Rosen. I talked about it at the end of the last show. Let's
Actually,
see.
just went literally 3 minutes ago. Went up on the podcast.
There you
Segment number 10.
There you go. Big O, if the Raptors get swept, I'll root for the Heat. Fins up. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I guess hanging out at nude beaches a lot. Okay? I don't know what the hanging out at nude beaches means a lot, but is Halle Berry at that nude beach? Then I'm there. Is Salma Hayek at a nude... Can you imagine Salma Hayek or Halle Berry at a nude beach? Like, that's it. Like, the internet would break. Because people would be filming it.
You know, they come
It would
across
be
as
over.
They come across as like pool girls, not beach girls. You know what I mean? There's a little extra effort to go to the beach.
I don't know.
Pool, you know what I mean? You don't have to deal with the sand and the car and the sea. You know, you don't have to commandeer your. You know, you just go hit a lounge chair.
See, the problem is, my man, since you're not really much of a social media person, and you don't really follow either person on social media.
Oh, they're at the beach. Oh, you know what? She did have a picture at the beach last week.
Yeah, and Salma is always taking pictures at the beach and by the water, the boat. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Is she in her bikini?
Well, she doesn't show the whole thing, but she has.
She has one of those wraps or something.
Yeah,
you know.
But Salma shows all kinds of other pictures that just. Salma Hayek is a great follow on Instagram. Whew. Wow. Great follow on Instagram, bro. Just giving you a heads up. If you're a Salma Hayek fan, you'll become an even bigger Salma Hayek fan. I love when she takes her natural pictures, like no makeup. phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal. What a wonder. I got to tell you, the good Lord did some great work on that one. What else do we have going on? How about this? Good news for you Dolphin fans out there. When you tune into the broadcast, you're going to be missing Bob Greasy now. And I don't wish any ill will on Bob. Bob is a great man, was a great player for this team, was a great broadcaster, by the way, for a long time. But he's old now. You know what I mean? He's Jimmy Cephalo's excuse is he just sucks. It doesn't matter what age he is, he just sucks. He's terrible. And so the Dolphin organization made a change. They and this was already rumored for a while. Jason Taylor is now in the booth. Bob Greasy is out. So it'll be Joe Rose, Jason Taylor, and unfortunately, Jimmy Cephalo. So the Triple J's, Jimmy, right? Joe, and Jason. So there's a lot of J's in the broadcast. A lot of smoking going on. You got that there, NorCal? 3 J's.
Well, they got a dime bag.
Yeah, but there you go. They got a dime bag. Is that what 3 J's are, a dime bag? Okay.
Well, I'm just saying back in the day. You know?
I don't know. Okay, so there we go. Apparently, according to Bill, they've got a dime bag inside the broadcast booth. Okay? So nice job getting Jason Taylor in there. Jason does a solid job. And obviously, team broadcast, it's put on the pom-poms and do it. That's just what it is.
Crap you not. 29th Street and West First Avenue used to be an auto parts store, 3 J's. I'm like, dude, you could go there and get a dime bag anytime.
Yeah, 3 J's. Wasn't there like some kind of bar or some kind of, it's like another business called 3 J's. Wasn't it a cigar bar? Yes, that's what it was. Is there still a cigar bar? And in fact, I want to say the 3 J's cigar bar was like in Pembroke Pines or Hollywood or North Miami, maybe. No, I think it was more like Pembroke Pines. Maybe even Miramar. Right. I think it was like Miramar, Pembroke Pines, somewhere in that area. Is am I right?
8250 Griffin Road.
That's what, Hollywood?
Says, yeah.
It's Hollywood then.
That's just, right there, Sheridan, Griffin.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I knew there was a cigar because I've been to that 3 J's. They do a good job at that place.
It actually says Davie.
Oh, Davie. Okay.
So it's further west.
Just a little north
than
and west.
I-95, you know? Yeah.
All right. I knew there was something like that. There you go. I bet 3 J's would be happy that we remembered their thing. They got a free plug there.
You just put on your cowboy boots and cowboy hat and you'll fit right in.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Why not? Rosen getting interest from Chargers, Redskins, Cleveland, and Vikings, but as a backup, so we probably won't get much. They're not going to trade him now. I already told you if you listen to the last show. They're going to trade him now if somebody blows their socks off. If they're getting a half-ass offer, they control him for another year. So they can hang on to him and build the value up so they can get something. Plus, they probably don't want to put Tua as the backup. So they probably plan on starting the season with Rosen as the backup. But you've got to inquire to see where it's at. And think about it. Why would the Chargers give you anything? Once you see Tremolio on that list, the Chargers, they just drafted a guy 6th overall. And they've got Tyrod Taylor. So they're not going to give you anything for him. They're not going to give anything of value when they already spent the 6th overall pick on a quarterback. Would it make it? Do you know how much they would get killed over there if they spent, let's say, a 3rd or 4th rounder on Rosen, which they're not? I'm sure they're offering a 6th or 7th rounder, which you don't give up a young quarterback for that price. You wait. So what they're doing is, it's not that they're trading him. I think they're just putting the toe in the water, see how it is, and if there's a stupid offer, let's take it. Like what you said earlier, if there's a Tunsil-like offer, then we take it. Nobody really is going to offer you a Tunsil-like offer right now for Rosen. But if Rosen comes off the bench during the season and balls out and plays well, next offseason or during the draft, there will be a market for him. or especially in a year. Let me explain something to you. If Rosen plays a couple of games this year and plays well, listen to me, follow me here. College football is going to be hard to assess. Not everybody is going to even have a season. Most of these conferences that are left may get crapped out. So scouting the next group may be tougher. With Rosen, if you see him play well now in a couple games against the Dolphins, you'll feel better about taking a guy that had success against NFL competition for a couple games, has experience, instead of drafting some rookie that barely played, rookie that barely played in college, and you have no idea what they are. So they have a shot at building up that value. You got to wait. You got to wait it out. And I think that's what's going on right now. It's just put the toe in the water. Let's see what the landscape is. And then we have a mark to then build on. I think that's what's going on.
May he be like, what was it, Flynn with Green Bay? Right? He played that one game, blew up, and they got a first rounder for him.
Yeah. How many games do you predict the Canes and Finns win this season based on a normal season? I'll go with the Dolphins. I'm going to go 8 wins. Okay?
So I'm projecting 13. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I'll go 8 wins. The Canes, maybe 2. They won't play the whole season. That's what I mean.
You threw me a curve there.
Yeah. I think they'll only play a couple games in the ACC, and then everything is going to go to hell.
When you said 2, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so the coach isn't even going to make it through half the season, like the third or fourth line.
The coach will be fine, but I don't think they'll make it out of the first month. I just don't, man. I think there's going to be cases all over now with kids going back to school and the partying and everything going on.
You take a look at what happened in Notre Dame. You take a look at what happened in Alabama. You take a look at what happened at Ohio State. Hundreds.
Yeah. Super Boom Shack says, Big O, I smoked a giant Corona at lunch in your honor. Hey, let's get Omar Kelly. Let's go. Call him now. Get it. Call him right now. We won't even break. Call Omar Kelly. Let's get him on. We'll talk a little Miami Dolphins. It's 2:31. We'll have a little fun with Omar. We got a loaded show today. Omar Kelly joins us at 2:30 right now. Anthony Chang is going to join us at 3 o'clock from the Miami Herald, covering the Miami Heat. And at 4 o'clock, Kurt Heelan from Pro Basketball Talk, NBC Sports, will come by. At 4:30, Steve Calabro is going to join us, the casino manager here at Hialeah Park. So we'll have a little fun. We are going to get Omar Kelly on. Remember, you can follow my man Omar on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel website or at your doorstep. Remember, folks, subscribe to your local papers. Support your local writers who are doing a great job of covering everything, not just sports like Omar does, but all the other stuff that goes on. So please support our writers, support our newspapers. Omar, how you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. How you been, Big O?
I'm doing fantastic, my brother. I can't complain, surviving and thriving even in a pandemic. So I got to kiss the ground I'm walking on, my brother. Those of us that still can work all the way through, we are blessed, man. We are. We're
absolutely no question about it.
You know,
and we've got our health.
Yep.
Hopefully our family members.
Yep.
So yes, I totally agree with you.
How's the wife, bro? Because I know she's in the front lines, dude. How's she hanging in there?
She's doing good. She's actually doing quite well. Happy, healthy.
Okay. All right.
Things seem to be getting better at the hospital.
All right. How's it feel like to work with a hero and you feel like a schmuck? I would imagine next to her, right?
You
write about silly ass football, and she's out saving lives, dude. Don't you feel like a complete waste?
Yeah, pretty much. But I chose to hang out in recess all day. I didn't like science class.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, my brother. Oh, no doubt about that. All right, so what'd you think of the story of Rosen getting shot? Because what I say is I think they're just putting the toe in the water to see where it's at. I don't think they'll trade him right now, but I think they want to see where the value is at, and then maybe down the line, if they can build the value, I think they would trade him. But what are your thoughts when you hear about Rosen being shopped?
If they could trade him, trade him. I don't really even care what you get back for him. I don't see Rosen as having much of a future as a starter in the NFL. He's here as a cheap backup, breaking case of emergency if something goes wrong. But, when I was watching practice, they didn't even want him to get snaps because it was slowing down the development of Tua. So I don't really sit there and think that they're pretty much invested in him. Really, to me, Rosen's going to struggle. He can't read a defense. He admitted he can't read a defense. And until he fixes that issue, I don't think he's an NFL starter. Now, he could fix that issue with another team. I just don't see it being here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think he has much of a future here. I think their job is try to just build up the value if they can to try to unload him. And the only reason I would hang on to him early on is with a new line, I would use him as my sacrificial lamb and not Tua. I don't want to put Tua in front of this line until they're settled.
That is a good theory, and in fact, I recently wrote a column in the Sun Sentinel saying that, my main concern about Tua going into the season was I didn't believe that his hip was going to be healthy. No matter what everybody was saying, no matter what he was saying, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust the process. But after watching him closely and examining him for 12 weeks and seeing him sprint and run like a running back, I mean, he's out sprinting linebackers. I don't have a concern about the hip anymore. Now, will he get an injury? Will he take a hit and possibly get injured and re-injure the hip? Yeah, that can happen, but that can happen at any time. Would I like him to rest for 365 days and not be hit by the 300-pound defensive lineman or a blitzing linebacker? Absolutely. That would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. But from a physical standpoint, he should be ready to play. Is he ready to start? No. He's not even close to where Ryan Fitzpatrick is. He's better than Josh Rosen, but he's not close to where Ryan Fitzpatrick is. I want him to sit, watch, and learn.
Omar, how impossible is it to read the line, dude? I mean, you got to see about 2 weeks of practice, not real practice. You don't get to see, you don't get to see the inside drills they used to run back in the day. Now you didn't get to see the scrimmages. You didn't get to see the entire training camp, 4 preseasons. That gives you plenty of time to kind of figure this crap out. It's got to be impossible for you and even the coaches to know who the hell are the top 5 guys.
You know what? I think they've got a top 7 guys that they've narrowed in on, and they have ideal spots for backups. But chemistry, how they're going to handle themselves when the action is live, and which offensive lineman is going to end up on the ground a lot. We just don't know those things. But what I can tell you is based on what I've seen in practice, there aren't that many sacks. Now, either that's a precursor to the fact that you still didn't add a pass rusher, and this team is very weak at the pass rusher standpoint, or none of these defense or some of these offensive linemen are big enough to hold their ground against these defensive linemen, and they do have a lot of girth. They're a big line. Last year, Jesse Davis was one of the biggest guys on the offensive line. This year, he's the smallest guy on the offensive line. That's how big they've gotten, through the draft and through free agency. The question is, how will they play well? How will they play together? And I'm of the opinion, it takes a line about 5-6 games to start develop chemistry. And so right now, the first half of the season, you're just experimenting. You're seeing what you can do, what you can't do. It's much like the preseason. Any fan who hopes that the Dolphins get out the gate fast, they're probably going to have their feelings hurt. But I will say this. Every team is going through the same thing. And those teams with continuity in terms of veterans or veteran offensive lines or veteran quarterbacks, those are the teams who are going to get off to a quick head start on the rest of the league. So if you're a betting man, look for continuity on the line, look for experience at quarterback, and then you should be good.
What do you see from that line? Is it more of a zone or is it man-on-man since they're so enormous?
I think it's man on man. I think they are enormous, and I don't see anybody pulling. I can't see it. They are massive. They are a massive line. The whole line is 330. So, unless you've got some of the tackles pulling, Jesse I know can pull. Austin Jackson looks like he can pull. But these guards, man, they're hovering in the 340 realm. I just don't see them being a pulling, zone blocking type of team.
Do you like it? Because I'd rather go this way than the smaller, shiftier guys. So I like big, huge linemen that can push people around, and that you got to have a full tank of gas just to get around the sumbitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like those kind of guys. That to me, that's the kind of line I like.
You know what? And I say this comparison, and I don't mean it to be an insult, but like Solomon Kinley reminds me a lot of John Jerry. There's just a lot of man there. And, we talk a lot of negative stuff about John Jerry, but the one thing we can never say is you never saw John Jerry get beat for a sack. You weren't bullying him getting to the quarterback. You might have blitzed and snuck through a crack, but you weren't just physically beating him man on man and getting to the quarterback. And that's a lot of what I see from this offensive line. They are big. They are massive. But they're also athletic. They aren't fat slouches. They're actually athletic, and quite frankly, Solomon Kinley, his athleticism and his stamina for a man his size has been surprising to me. Been one of the more pleasant surprises about what I've seen so far.
In a perfect world, I don't know if you feel like I do. I love Jesse Davis, but I love him as my sixth lineman. I feel that
don't disrespect Jesse like that.
Okay.
I'm a card-carrying member of Jesse Davis fan club.
Okay.
I tell him that all the time. I have watched Jesse Davis work his way up from the practice squad to the point where he's the most reliable offensive lineman on that team, has played every spot but center, and in fact his goal is to actually play center now so he can complete the it's not a trifecta, it's not a whatever a five, he'll be in the 5 hole just to say that he's done it. Jesse is so, people not Jesse about the way he played last year. Jesse played with one hand last year, and you never even noticed it because he couldn't really move his shoulder. Like, that's why he got moved to right tackle instead of left tackle. Like, I don't know why fans want to disrespect Jesse, but Jesse, I watched training camp, and Jesse was your top offensive lineman.
Yeah, but Jesse has been here a little longer than most of those guys, has more experience, his body's more developed at this point. I like him. I just kind of see the Andrew Gardner role with him from a few years back. I don't know if you remember him, that he played.
Yeah, I remember him.
He played like 3 different positions, and Jesse's, I think
you're thinking about Nate Gardner.
Nate Gardner, that's it. And I think he's a little better than Nate, actually, but I just kind of see him as that guy that, if you get 5 really good ones, he's going to be your 6th guy and the guy that you can move around a little bit and use in different positions. That's when I think your line is exceptional, because I don't know if I can see elite play from Jesse Davis. That's my thing, dude. Can we get to that point where I look at him and I say, okay, he's a dominant lineman instead of a solid lineman?
I'm not sure he'll ever be dominant, but I can tell you what, he was the best performer out of everybody. Now, you can talk about upside all you want, but upside don't win you games. And I'm going right now, Jesse Davis at right tackle instead of Robert Hunt all day, every day. I've seen Hunt struggle in areas against players that Jesse wouldn't even have a problem with. It's not the occasional guy beating you here and there that troubles me. It's that you getting your handed to you on a regular per snap basis, and that's where Robert Hunt is. That it just doesn't make me feel comfortable. I know a lot of people were projecting Hunt more as a guard than as a tackle, and I think they're right.
Yeah, but I'm of the school that I'm a little patient with linemen, because you just mentioned John Jerry, bro. John Jerry took a couple of years to figure it out, actually. Billy, what's the name of the kid that's still playing? Billy, whatever.
Billy Turner, yeah.
Billy Turner. It took him a few years to figure it out. Sometimes, a lot of times, actually, linemen, they don't come around to like years 3 and 4 is when they kind of figure it out physically.
Not disagreeing with you.
You know what I mean?
That's why Jesse Davis is coming into his own this year, Big O.
Aha! What year is this for Jesse now?
It's his 4th year now.
Okay. All right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there because you might be right. Because sometimes, like I haven't given up on Dieter. You know, I got to give the kid another year to see if he can actually do something. So you're done.
Yeah.
You're done with him. You giving him no hope.
I'm glad they did what they did. I kept telling people he wasn't playing well, and because I love offensive line. That's my thing. That's my jam right there. And people just kept telling me I'm a liar because he's a third-round pick, and he started every game like he was on the turf
No, he
all
didn't play
game
well.
long.
He didn't play well at all. He didn't play well.
And so I'm glad they addressed it. They had the awareness to address it. And I like that. I respect that. As opposed to holding on to a player and holding out hope and saying, hoping he's going to turn the corner. And, no, when you got an average player, say, okay, we got an average player, let's go address that spot. And that's what they did last offseason. I mean, I want them to admit the entire 2019 draft was a bust because it was. Unless Andrew Van Ginkel turns around and becomes a stud, there's really not a lot you're going to get from that draft class.
Yeah, well, we'll see if how has Van Ginkel looked, because obviously they have brought in several linebackers and defensive ends to kind of mix and match.
He actually has surprised me and played quite well in replacing Kyle Van Noy. When Van Noy was sidelined by the thumb injury. Is he Van Noy? No, but I think in a year we might see a better player in Andrew Van Ginkel. Is he Vince Beagle? Probably not, but but he's trending upwards. He surprisingly had a strong camp when Van Ginkel went down.
How are the running backs look? Or has it been impossible to judge
Van Noy,
them because have the running backs been impossible to judge, Omar, because the offensive line is so unsettled, or how do you view that?
I don't agree with that statement because the guy who's impressed me the most is Myles Gaskin, and Myles Gaskin's primarily, I can't tell you where he's working, but he's not working with any prominent people, and he's made things happen. So if a one running back can make things happen, why can't the other two? I expected to see more from Matt. And Jordan Howard, I know who he is. He's probably a no Sean Moreno type where you're really not going to see his best until things get physical and he's able to hit people and go an extra yard forward, fall an extra yard forward. And there's value to that. Jordan Howard gets you exactly what's drawn up. Matt Breida is going to be able to bust a big one. Together, they should make a respectable, 1-2 tandem. Now, are they going to produce a top 16 rushing attack? Based on what I've seen, probably not.
All right, I know your love affair for Tua, so where are you right now with the young man after watching him for a few weeks?
I like him. The accuracy, the anticipation are exactly what I expected them to be. The pocket presence has been a little bit more than what I expected him to be. I'm seeing him step up, slide, and evade pressure. I mean, things that you would think could potentially lead to a sack, or during the Tannehill days, during Tannehill, there was a sack every 8th snap in practice. It just was what it was. And Dolphin fans never understood it. They never got it. They never really saw it. And it was quite disruptive to the team and quite disruptive to the offense. You're not seeing that with Tua. You're not seeing that with any of the quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I think DeRozan's pocket presence is pretty good as well. So could the fact that there aren't any sacks be the fact that these quarterbacks have a better pocket presence than the previous quarterbacks? Maybe. I mean, we used to watch Tannehill get sacked every 8 snap, and then they'd end up with, 30 sacks on the season?
Yeah.
So, so what do we know? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think Tua is going to be that dude. You see so much intangible, so much leadership. He's overflowing with intangible. I would say the pocket presence has been greater than I expected. The arm strength has been a little bit less than what I expected. But overall, I think you've got a good quarterback.
Think about it, Omar. You were covering a guy that was learning how to be a quarterback, had to develop instincts in the pocket. Tua and Rosen, these kind of guys have been quarterbacks since they were kids. It all comes natural to them. The fact that Ryan has had some success is actually impressive because it's not something that comes natural to him. The game doesn't come natural to him. He has to kind of, process everything. Whereas these kind of cats, everything is just, it's kind of part of the flow. of everything going
Hey.
on. They don't even have to think about it.
Hey, but we're talking about the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL last year. Let's put some respect on his name.
Yeah. Put some respect on Derrick Henry and that offensive line when you're winning
Yeah.
games throwing 70 yards, bro. I'm
I am
not buying
very
any
curious.
of
Yeah.
that, my brother.
I am
any of
very curious to see what's going to happen to the Tennessee Titans this year. Very, extremely curious.
Yes, I know why you're saying that. You're saying that because you and I know, dog, that once these defensive coordinators are going to look at that Ravens tape and they're going to say, okay, what did they do to make them one-dimensional? Let's go make them one-dimensional. And that's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to make them one-dimensional and say, okay, Ryan, you beat us. And then that's when they're going to have their
Not only that, but they took a step back on that offensive line, which was massive.
That's
So,
right, Conklin.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, props to him. He's proven all of us naysayers wrong. He's proved that he can lead a team to the playoffs and be the top-rated passer in the NFL. Now the question is, can he continue to build on that? And if he does, I will openly say, hey, maybe we should have waited the 10th season on Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, God, the 10th season. All right, so I think the kid plays later on in the year. When do you think they go with Tua?
I'm not looking for him to play until sometime in November.
I would love that.
I think Ryan, unless Ryan gets injured, I do see Ryan's arm. Ryan's arm it's not on E, but the tank is a little bit low. You might have like one trip to work on it. But after that, I just don't see Ryan Fitzpatrick's arm holding up for the entire season. And I think at some point, the game will slow down for Tua. He will have a good enough mastery of Chan-Gailey's offense. He'll have a good enough understanding of the speed of the NFL game, and we'll see him at some point in November.
You got a prediction already for the Sun Sentinel? How many games they're going to win this year?
Funny, I wasn't. I don't know if I was asked to do a prediction, but I think I would put them at about 7-9. I thought they had more talent than they have when I started watching practice. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I thought they had enough. When you spend $243 million in the offseason, which is what Steve Ross did, 143 of it in guaranteed money, that's the most money any owner spent in one offseason, and you would expect it would be a massive overhaul. And it really wasn't. I'm not seeing it. So I'm pretty much predicting they're probably going to be somewhere in the 6-10, 7-9 realm.
You got to understand that if it becomes a massive overhaul, Omar, it's over a stretch of a couple of years. Because think about it, you're not going to get 5 young linemen to come through this year, but if 2 of them do, then you're there. And then if another one comes in the following year and things like that, and then if Malcolm Perry makes an impact, if some of the the D linemen, the Raekwon Davis, all that, a year from now, then we would be saying, holy crap, what they did last year was a major change. I think that's the problem, that you're watching all these cats so green, and you didn't get all the mini camps, you didn't get the training camp, you didn't get the preseasons to watch them at least grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of growing that needs to get done. And no disrespect to anybody on that team or the Malcolm Perrys. And you make a very valid point. It's about, the growth of Andrew Van Ginkel is what this season is about. The young players who are a year in the system, and you want to see them take that next step, and everybody has to take that next step. And if they do that, maybe they can produce an 8-8 season. But right now, I think the first half of the season is going to be rough, and then we're going to see them pick up steam in the second half of the year.
One more thing before I let you go. I am of the theory that Brian Flores was built for this kind of a crazy-ass season, because everything he did last year, filtering out, 70% of the team, and then throughout every week, he filtered in guys, started them the same week, got them out the next week. In a chaotic year, I think this guy's suited perfectly for this kind of a season. May not have the talent, but what I'm saying is just preparing people for chaotic situations. Like what it is now. He did a good job last year.
I can see where you're saying that because of how much and it's true. They have a ton of versatility. They, to be on this team, you got to be able to play like 3 different positions, 3 different roles. If you can't, then you really just have no business being here. So I can see where you're saying that. But to me, In year 2, I don't buy all that. He did a great job with 5-11. You know, Ryan Fitzpatrick got you 5 wins. Let's be honest about it, okay? Because when we began,
hey, my brother, take the Ryan Fitzpatrick test. I've done it here on the show. Does Ryan Tannehill win the 5 games that Fitzpatrick won with the same talent?
Maybe, probably.
Oh,
I mean, Ryan,
come on.
No. Ryan has always been like 7-9. I'm not saying that
but those teams were way better. Yeah, okay. I mean, they were. Your beloved unicorn was not here, bro. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Okay, with this talent from last year.
With that line? Oh no, he might win 3 games. No, you're correct. Okay,
that's my point.
With that line, yeah, he'd probably struggle to win 2 games.
That's right. So give Flores some credit, bro. Winning at the end of the year in New England when they needed that game.
That's Fitzpatrick, man. I can't give Flores no credit. I'm sorry. There was nothing that they did. There is nothing that they did that was even average as a team, except for not be penalized, not beat themselves with penalties. They couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run, couldn't pressure the quarterback, couldn't stop pressure. You know, what was it that they did well?
But they found ways to win.
Yeah, okay,
brother, that's what counts, is finding ways to. You can win ugly. Can you imagine when the man has talent? Then he's really going to win a lot of games if he actually gets a talented team. He had no talent last year. He had the youngest roster in the NFL, and he went 5-4 in his last 9 games. And that's when teams are playing at their best.
Ryan Fitzpatrick went 5-4 the last 9 games.
Yeah, you have to stop the team somehow on the other side for Fitzpatrick to put up enough points to win. You got to give him some love, bro.
Okay, the Colts game, they had some turnovers. They got lucky. They were playing Brian Hoyer. Eagles game, the Eagles self-destructed. Wilton in South Florida. Props to Brian Flores, but I'm sorry. Ryan Fitzpatrick still won that game.
Yeah, you got 7 wins. You're at the end of the year. All you got to do is either beat Buffalo or the Jets, and Ryan Tannehill and his coach could not beat either. Brian Flores wins one of those 2 games, even with bum-ass Ryan Tannehill.
I don't believe it. Not with Ryan Tannehill. With Fitzpatrick, maybe. Not Tannehill. I'm sorry. I got to see Brian Flores actually coach this year. The first year, there was all these excuses about no players, no talent. Show me you can coach people with talent.
Hold on a second. Nick Needham got better as a player. Wilkins got better as a player. Gesicki got better as a player. Devontae Parker got better as a player. So many people. What? Devontae didn't get better?
Devontae was healthy. He didn't get any better. He was healthy. He had a quarterback throwing him the ball.
Well, somehow or another, they figured out how to keep the dude healthy, bro. I mean, whatever. I give them credit. And they found Preston Williams.
He had 1 healthy season in 4 years, and we're celebrating the coach for that.
Isaiah Ford also improved. A lot of people improved under this coach.
Isaiah Ford played. He didn't improve. Now, this
how can you say he didn't improve?
Because I saw Isaiah Ford made plays in training camp for 3 years.
Yeah, but training camp is one thing. He wasn't making plays on the field. Now he got to the field.
He never got a chance to play.
Yeah, well, he
never got a chance to play till last season.
Right. Well, but
Isaiah Ford has never had a chance to play till last season.
Because he wasn't good enough. Now they got him on there, and he's actually played well, bro. You got to give people credit when they play well, dude. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of players on that team that improved as the year went on. People got better on that team.
Nah, I don't see it. I think people got more accustomed in their roles. They played the defense and they understood the defense better. They executed a little bit better. But I'm sorry, you can't go play 14 players that are new to the team. They're calling people by numbers because they don't know their names in the season opener, and then not expect the team to improve after 17 weeks. Like, okay, they're going to improve. They were strangers in week 1. Now, if Brian Flores wants my credit, he's going to have to coach this team to a winning record. That's it. That's the only time I'm going to give him any credit. Because all this losing and mediocrity that we've seen for the last decade, I ain't giving you no props for that. You're not getting a round of applause for 5-11.
So he wins 5 games with absolutely no talent, and all the all the prior coaches had way more talent, and all they could win is like 7 or 8 or 9 games.
No praise. So you know what we said you know what we said coming into the season? If you start Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to get you about 6 wins. Right? Didn't we say that? Didn't everybody say that?
I didn't. I didn't think they would even win 5. I thought they would win 0, bro. I didn't think
you
they
didn't
would
say
win.
that.
I
didn't say that.
No, I did not. I did not. I thought that roster was going to be the worst Dolphin team I have ever seen in my life. I didn't expect them to win anything. Yeah. I really did.
I expected them to be bad, but I knew Ryan Fitzpatrick would put them on his shoulders and take them to a couple of victories, and he did just that. Yes. Okay, Flores, I'll give you credit for the Patriots' final season opener. Props to you. You know, you put your team in position to keep the game close, and then you gave it to Ryan Fitzpatrick on the final drive, and he delivered. Okay, it's still Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, you know, I'm not a coach like even with the Patriots dynasty. I give credit to Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick. Now, Bill Belichick comes around and wins 10 games with Cam Newton. I'll give him the props and praise he deserves. But I'm sorry, that team was Tom Brady. When players I talked to were talking about the Patriots, they were terrified of Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Omar, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, man. Always appreciate it. Look forward to doing it again, man.
Good to catch up with you, B.O.
All right, baby. Be good. There you go. Omar Kelly. All right, let's take a quick break. Anthony Chang from the Miami Herald is next. Tommy in Hialeah is here. I'm going to hang out with him now. We'll be back in a couple minutes right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Show!
back. We promised you that Anthony Chang would be joining us right after Omar Kelly. We talked a little Dolphins with Omar. Now we're going to talk about the Red Hot Heat. Tommy in Hialeah was here visiting us here at Hialeah Park, and we were just talking about the Red Hot Heat with him. Anthony Chang does an excellent job of covering the Heat. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Catch his work at the Herald website. We're at your doorstep. Again, support local journalists like I do. Please subscribe. They do a great job of covering our local teams. Anthony, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Big O. How are you? Long time no talk.
Yes, sir. Exceptional after last night. I got to tell you, man, I didn't see this coming, a 2-0 lead. And, you know, in boxing, Anthony, styles make fights. And I think this is why we have this advantage right now, the style between these two teams. Miami is a really difficult matchup for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we said it in the regular season, and, you know, even after the Heat won 2 of 3 games against the Bucks in the regular season, there were still some questions, well, what can they carry into the playoffs? And, I mean, you've seen it, 2-0. The Heat have controlled the first games of the series. Like, the game has been played at their pace. Miami has made a concerted effort to slow the game down because the Bucks were the fastest-paced team in the regular season in the league. They like to get out in transition. Giannis in transition is obviously pretty unstoppable. And the Heat have just not allowed them to play their game. They've imposed their will, especially late in games, to take a 2-0 lead. It's been really impressive, you know. And really, you know, I know that they do match up with the Bucks. They match up well with the Bucks. I agree with you, but they've had success against almost every top team in the East. I think they're 14-5 now against the top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference, including the playoffs. So, you know, this team's playing really well. They match up well with the Bucks, and yeah, they're in a very good spot to maybe advance to the conference finals. It's going to be an interesting ride.
Anthony, we got to give Spo a lot of credit. The way he's designed the defense to not allow Giannis to do the things that he's comfortable with.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. I wrote about it after game 1. You know, yesterday Giannis got to some of what he liked. He got 20 paid points. He was able to get in the paint. But even then, I mean, you could just see the impact he's having is not as great as usual. Jay Crowder has done a tremendous job. You know, it was known that we're going to try to build the wall and protect, you know, and keep him from the paint, but it's easier said than done. But the execution on that plan has been incredible. Like, you know, Jay has done a great job, and then you have Bam shadowing Giannis pretty much every time he leaves the game. Bam leaves the game. Every time Giannis enters the game, Bam enters the game. So Bam is now basically the primary help defender. So you have Jay doing a solid job on him, and then you have Bam right behind them. And I mean, Jimmy's done it. Jimmy and Andre have also taken on the task. So they've made life really hard on Giannis. And again, a big part of that is limiting his transition opportunities, because when he gets in transition, no matter who's guarding him, you know, you're probably not going to stop him. And they haven't given him many chances there in the fast break. So yeah, they've done a really good job. One interesting stat that I came upon last night was he was minus 14 in game 1, and he was a minus 7 in game 2. It's the first time he's put together consecutive negative plus minuses since last year's Eastern Conference Finals against the Raptors when the Bucks lost that series. So it has been a while since he's basically been taken out of games, and you know the Heat are doing that.
Do you notice maybe a lack of confidence growing on the Bucks side? Because I would imagine, you know, I was talking about this. They're 4-1 against Milwaukee this year, and so now you have to reverse it if you're Milwaukee. You need to beat Miami 4 out of the next 5 games just to win this series. Something you haven't been able to do all season. I would imagine right now that Milwaukee has got to be questioning, how do we have the right matchup to beat this team?
Yeah, I mean, they have to, right? I mean, you know, they're human and they see it. They've lost. No Eastern Conference team has beaten the Bucks more than once this season. The Heat have beaten them 4 times. There's obviously something there. And yeah, they're down 2-0. There's a lot of pressure on their side. I mean, you know, it's not an elimination game, but game 3 is pretty much as close to a must-win as you could get, without it being an elimination game. Giannis is, the Heat have a lot of guys they can throw at Giannis, as we talked about. The Heat shoot really well, which the Bucks give up a lot of three-point attempts. You saw it last night. The Heat outscored the Bucks by 30 points from three-point range. Everything, the Heat's strengths match up very, very well against the Bucks, and it's going to be a tough task. I mean, I haven't asked Bucks players that question, and I'm sure they would answer it, with the PC answer of, we're so confident, but there has to be some doubt creeping in just because, like you said, the Heat have won 4 out of the 5 games against them.
And we're talking with Anthony Chang, of course, from the Miami Herald. You can follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Catch his work there at the Miami Herald website or, of course, at your doorstep. Heat leading 2-0. Game 3 will be tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Anthony, the amazing part is some of these young guys for the Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson really has not gone off yet on the first 2 games. He was a little better in last night's game with 13 points and 3 of 8 shooting from three-point range. But even Duncan Robinson has not been that guy. But then we're watching Tyler Hero, and also Kendrick Nunn is starting to come around a little bit and starting to add a little something now.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody. 7 double-digit scores in Game 2, first time in Heat playoff history that's happened. That's been the strength of this team. I know Game 1, Jimmy has 40 points, and he'll have his share of big games, but this team has been all about depth, and that's been the number one strength. And I think there were questions entering the playoffs of how does that translate, because usually depth doesn't win in the postseason. But the Heat are making it work. I mean, it's not just that they're deep. They have a lot of guys who fit and complement each other. The shooting, the passing, the shooting around Jimmy and Bam, who, they're obviously not outside shooters. They like to get in the paint and, get to the foul line. But they just all complement each other so well. Jimmy reads the game very well. I mean, last night he only took 8 shots, which I'm sure some want to be more aggressive. But when Tyler's playing like that, when Goran is playing like that, when Kelly's hitting shots, Jimmy's going to read the game. He made an impact by setting the tone, by controlling the speed of the game, and also with his defense. So it's just I was talking about it yesterday with somebody. It's just a really well-constructed roster. Like, the pieces just fit. There isn't a superstar on the team, but they just have really good players that fit well together and play very smart basketball.
It's been amazing. Did you see this coming, by the way? Did you think they were going to take a 2-0 lead on Milwaukee here?
I thought I predicted the series was 7 games. I didn't predict the winner just because I feel like once you go to 7 games, anybody can win, especially with no home court. But I honestly can't say I saw 2-0. I did not see that. I was, we spoke, I think, before the season, and I was high on this team.
Yes,
I thought they could be a top 4 team in the East.
Yes, you did say that.
I thought they could win a series, but I did not predict them to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I would not have guessed that. But I do think, I will say, the trade for Andre and Jay, that has made such a difference. Those 2 guys have fit in really well. Imagine the defense without those 2. I mean, you wouldn't have Jay to guard Giannis. I mean, Jay spaces the floor. Andre plays in a lot of important moments and also provides really good defense. The Heat needed them. And with those 2 guys, I think just kind of completed the roster into this really an Eastern Conference contender, as you're seeing.
How is Iggy? What have you heard? Because I know getting information out of the Heat is near impossible. I know you got to work for the CIA maybe, and maybe you'll be able to crack it. So what do you hear about Iggy, my brother?
We just spoke with Spo after practice, and as expected, Spo did not really provide an update. He said he didn't have an update on it. It was a pretty bad, you saw it. It was a pretty bad turn. So, we'll see. I would not be surprised if he misses a game. I think if he misses a game and is ready for Game 4, then I think you take that as a Heat fan, because it was a pretty bad turn of the ankle. But we'll know more at 5:30. The NBA releases the injury report for tomorrow's games, and we'll see how the Heat list them there.
Are the Heat also doing themselves a favor by kicking Milwaukee's ass? Is that the nail in the coffin for Giannis, and he says, I like it here. I like the guys, but I don't think I'm going to win a title here. I got to get out of here. Any chance that Miami can benefit from that?
I mean, it can't hurt, right? Who knows what's going on through his mind, but he has to be impressed with what the Heat are doing. And he has to be impressed with the Heat's young core. They are, the Heat look like the better team. And for Giannis to see that firsthand, that's about as good a free agent pitch as you could do. I saw a tweet yesterday that said these first 2 games of this series are a manifestation of Pat Riley throwing the rings on the table. And it really kind of is. I mean, this is the ultimate free agent pitch. It's not words. It's like, here you go. This is our style of basketball. This is the core we put together. Imagine what you could do with this team around you. So yeah, I mean, it definitely can't hurt.
Hey, listen. They made Bosh a 3-point shooter. They told LeBron, hey, we need you to work on your post game. Dwayne Wade became a better shooter because Spo worked with him in his early days. They've done it with 50 different players over the years in the last 25 years that Riley's been here. Giannis comes here, he'll become a better shooter, guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat's player development is tremendous, as we all know, and as we've seen this season. And that's the thing with Giannis. I think yesterday he was 10 of 11 in the restricted area and like 0 of 8 everywhere else in the court. That's what sets him apart from being, to me, on the caliber of LeBron, Kawhi. He doesn't have the all-around offensive game yet. And that's not a criticism to Milwaukee. I'm sure they work on him with it. But, if he does ever come to the Heat, I'm sure that will be number 1 priority on the player development checklist for him.
All right, Anthony, which was a bigger bullshit call? The one against the Heat and Dragon, or the one against Giannis? Which one was just a bigger load of crap?
To me, they were both. To me, I would have called both, but I'll pick. I'm going to say the one on Goran was.
Yep.
I did not see that one. At least Giannis had his left hand on Jimmy's waist or side on the shot. Even that, I don't.
It had nothing to do with the shot. It was after the shot too. It did not affect the shot whatsoever.
Yeah, I would not have put either one, but the Goran one was. I mean, I did not see it. Goran was literally, he just stood his ground, did not even leave the floor, and was arms straight. And Chris Middleton's momentum, pushed him a little forward, and he made a slight contact with Goran. I didn't see that call at all, but it almost felt like the Jimmy foul was like a makeup call. I don't know. That was definitely one of the weirdest endings to a game. Definitely a playoff game that I've ever seen.
Did you see what happened in the Houston OKC game when they called a timeout, but the ref had called a foul on the inbound play before the timeout, and CP3 busts them and says, hey, no, you called a foul on them. You can't just go to the timeout now. And they were trying to, and it was a 2-point game at that moment. And he still missed a free throw, but the fact is they reviewed it, and then they went with, okay, no, we did call a penalty before the timeout, which they knew it. But my point is, I don't know if you saw that play, but my point is, dude, out of all pro sports, why is it that the NBA has the most inconsistent, and I'm being really nice, officials?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I mean, I would say my answer to that question is that there's so much action packed into the game. I mean, there's continuous action the entire 48 minutes of the game. It's not like baseball where you just, pitch by pitch and there's a lot of breaks, or football even where each play is kind of its own thing. Basketball is just continuous. And you have so much contact in every part of the floor that there's so many judgment calls that, you could argue, especially late in the game when when you're kind of under a microscope. It's a tough job, but that's their job. That's what they're trained to do. So you have to be held accountable for those calls.
It's really interesting how we have changed our thinking with Goran. When he first signed that contract, everybody was saying, oh man, they're paying him a lot of money. A few years later, everybody's realizing, well, it's not so much money. And now everybody's saying Goran's a bargain. we got to bring him back for another year or two. What do you know about that, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, Goran has not been shy of saying he wants to play for the Heat for the rest of his career. He likes it down here. I know his wife loves it in Miami. They really enjoy it. He enjoys the organization. But he's a free agent, and this is really the last big, quote unquote, big contract he'll get in his career. He's 34 years old. He plays his style of basketball. Who knows how many, good seasons he has left in him. So we'll see what he decides. The Heat really aren't in a position to offer him more than a 1-year deal because they're trying to keep that space open in 2021 for, Mr. Giannis or another top free agent like that. So it'll come down to, the Heat have his bird rights. They could go over the cap to sign him this summer, give him maybe a more money, but for 1 year, to see if he takes that and then just kind of play, what the Heat try to do with Dwayne Wade, where they string him along year by year by using his bird rights until Dwayne got tired of it. They might try to do the same thing with Goran just because they're in that same position where they can't afford to cut off their flexibility, the future flexibility. So it's going to have to be a short-term deal. So we'll see.
All right, and Anthony, I just want to remind you got to change your habit for this year. They won't pay him this summer; they'll pay him this winter.
That's right. You're right. I'm all thrown off. I can't believe it's September, 2 or 3 right now. It's unbelievable. So strange.
It is really, really strange, man. And I would imagine that the next season won't be in a bubble. That will be, if we're still in the middle of this crap, that'll be a real challenge for them to get through an NBA season. I'm interested to see if they even expand the rosters next season because they'll be right in the middle of winter where the COVID thing could be even bigger.
Yeah, I who knows what's going to happen? Where the pandemic will be at that point. But my guess, and this is just a guess, I think that there'll be a little bit of a pause here after this season, just because I think teams would like to play as many games as possible with fans in the arena. And I think that they're willing to wait maybe a few months to start if that means a better chance of having fans. So we'll see. I know the initial target date was in December to start the next season. Adam Silver's already come out and said that's probably not going to happen. So I would not be surprised if the season starts in 2021 instead.
Well, so if they wait a few months after that, then that's it. The season's a wash. We won't have a 2020-2021 season. It'll be you're going to start the 2021-2022 season then, is what you're saying. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if they shorten the season and maybe just play, kind of like a lockout shortened season where it's fewer regular season games and they just try to get it done by, July or so. They start in January and end by July.
Right.
And then restart then in the fall of that year. But yeah, it's obviously not an easy, situation. I mean, the other thing is the NBA has talked for years about maybe starting the season around Christmas. Less competition with football. You have more, in the playoffs, they're pretty much all the entire summer where there's not that many sports going on, so you have more eyeballs. So that's another thing. I mean, maybe you go from January until August, and then you restart the next season in December, and that's kind of the new NBA cycle. So there's they'll have to decide what's best, but it doesn't seem like it's going to start by the end of the calendar year. I think game 1 will probably come at some point early on in 2021.
Now, there's no more idiots, right? Saying that Spo can't coach, right? Are we done with that already? Because I haven't heard the people reach back to me because over the last years, you would hear people that were never convinced during the Big Three era. Do you still get anything like that anymore? Does anybody embarrass themselves anymore with that?
I haven't gotten that in a long time. Right. I used to get that a lot. The past few years, I've gotten that a lot. But to me, Spo, this is probably his best coaching job just in terms of relative to expectations and roster. He obviously did a great job with the Big Three and managing those egos and kind of navigating all that. But right now, what he's doing, I mean, you can just tell the Heat are the better coached team in this series. They just seem prepared for everything Milwaukee is going to do. And they execute the game plan pretty much perfectly. So, yeah, I mean, Spo deserves a ton of credit. He he's cementing his, he's already cemented his legacy, I think. He didn't really need to do this, but he's really cementing his legacy right now as one of those coaches that, is probably going to go down as one of the best, in this era.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Follow him on Twitter, Anthony_Chang. Catch his exceptional work at the Miami Herald website or, of course, on your doorstep, which is always perfect. Anthony, as always, my friend, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy the basketball, my friend. Great coverage.
Thanks, Rigo. Have a good one.
You got it. There you go. Anthony Chang, man. Good stuff there. A little back-to-back with Omar and then Anthony. And we even had Tommy in Hialeah. He came by to visit. He dropped off a fan head for me for the University of Miami. I love it. I love it. I might build this thing and put it in the studio. I got to figure out a way of putting it in the studio. It's probably what I want to do with this. I like it. Thank you very much, Tommy. That is very nice of you. Tommy in Hialeah, very cool, my man. I appreciate all of you out there, as always, coming by, saying hi, and taking care of us in a big-time way, man. Thank you so much. We thank Anthony Chang for joining us. We thank Omar Kelly for joining us. Obviously, got a bunch of folks chiming in. Let's see. Stefano, we need a 100% football talk show at some point, Big O. Please. Why would I do that, bro? I'm just wondering. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I want to talk about the Miami Heat or Inter Miami or the Marlins or the Panthers or the Canes? Not sure. Why would I want to do a 100% talk show? Listen to me when I'm at the Combine, Senior Bowl, East-West, the draft. Those are all football. But every day, no, man, we're going to have music. We'll talk BS. We'll tell you how crappy Jimmy Cephalo is. But it's never going to be all football. Okay? So it is, that's the way it goes, my brother. Let's see. What else do we have? I heard this. You right, Bone C. I heard the same interview. He was a little kid, got candy taken away. He started pouting. I don't know what you guys are talking about now. I don't know what you guys think, but I choose a healthy Tua over a healthy Burrow. Oh, my God. Not even close. Dennis Aker says, absolutely love the Omar Kelly interview. Been waiting for you guys to get back together on the show. Also loved how you straightened them out. Keep ass kicking, Big O. I don't know if I straightened them out. It's just we have fun. We go back and forth. We agree. We disagree. It's sports, bro. You can agree and disagree a lot. It's fun.
You know something? I so wanted to. They had the worst rush defense in the league. They had practice players and street free agent rookies in their secondary.
I know.
All of them. And to win 5 games with that.
It's amazing.
How?
It's amazing.
You're going to tell me the coach had nothing to do with that. Come on, man.
Everybody has to do something with it. Yeah. I'm not going to put it all on Fitz either. That's where Omar and I will disagree, and other people will disagree with him, and some will agree with him. That's the way it is. Let's see. What else do we have here? I am stuck on that fraud, Omar. No way. He said that they would win 5 games last year. 100% full of crap. Omar's getting slammed here by George. Let's see. Finn Strong 1. Greek Freak is very frustrated with the Heat wall containing him. Yep. Let's see. What else? Mike says, I heard a scout say Tua is a lefty version of Drew Brees. I think he has more upside due to athleticism, but very accurate. Listen, Tua's thing is injuries, bro. If he can stay healthy, I think he'll ball in this league. Dougie Fresh says, I actually appreciate what Omar brings to the Finns discussion. He does make me think about the position, and I appreciate his countering of popular ideas. Just my 2 cents. You guys are coming down too hard on Omar Kelly today. I thought he was spot on for once. Let's see. What else? Prediction, Omar Kelly, Dolphins columnist, 3-13. Let's see. Finn Strong says, I did see an update on Iggy either, but he was able to get back in the, if they needed him, Dr. JJR would take his spot. Oh, you're talking about, not Dr. J. DJJR. You're talking about Derek Jones Jr. Okay. What else do we have? I don't have an issue with his opinion on Flo or players. He's entitled to that. I have an issue with the straight up lying. Dave Hyde predicted 0-16. That's what I thought. Dude, I thought they wouldn't win a game. I'm sorry. I was dead wrong. I thought they wouldn't win squat with that roster. I give Flo a lot of credit. Leo says 1,100 deaths in Florida yesterday. You are smoking. Never said in Florida. I said in this country, Leo. Clean your ears. Remember, you're on double secret probation. Let's see. And what follows up, Matthew Walker. Here comes stupid-ass Leo. Okay. The team rallied around a labeled a talentless punching bag. It's going to be interesting to see where they go this year. Let's see. What else do we have? Rosendo says, good afternoon to Big O family. Prayers to all. Intentions, hope everyone is doing good. Let's get this weekend on the road. Let's end this year in peace. Damn, your weekend starts today? That's awesome. I still got Friday. And I work on Sunday.
And we will be working on Monday, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's a Labor Day. We labor.
Okay, labor on Labor Day.
We labor on Labor Day.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Yeah. We'll labor. We'll label a short day that day. We won't do a long show.
You know, I'm going to say something a little bit off, but the way we've been able to basically minus 14 and minus 7 in 2 games, Giannis, this is the MVP, man. He's really kind of one-dimensional. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a mid-range, an outside. You know, it's that straight forward to the basket. That's it.
Yeah. Pizza Guy says, I truly feel the New England Patriots won't win 7 games this year. They lost a lot of players, not only in free agency, and also decided to opt out. I'm with you, Pizza Guy. I've said it. I think they'll struggle to even get to 500. I'm with you. If they win 7 or 8, that's about their max, I think. I don't think they're that good. I really don't. I'm with you. I thought they lost a lot. I think people are giving Belichick way too much credit after losing so much. It's not just the Tom Brady thing. Everything. It's what Pizza Guy says. People have opted out. They lost a lot in free agency. I just think they've had so much turnover that I think it's going to be hard to maintain that culture and that play that they've had there for many, many years. I'm with you there. O is Word Up playing. No, there's no Word Up. For Cameo? Word Up? Nope. All right, so we checked some of the chat board there for you. At 4 o'clock, Kurt Heelan is going to join us in the final hour of the program. And at 4:30, Steve Calabro is also going to join us. So we'll have a little fun with him. It's the bottom of the hour here. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. I got a couple of, I guess Stefano will enjoy it. I got a couple of football notes that I want to talk about. I got some other funny stuff that I want to get to here on the program. I did give my NBA picks already. Let's see what else. We got a couple of other things that we'll get to. Music also. If you want to get in on the program, 786-322-1105. You can get in on the YouTube chat board, on the Super Chat. You can also get in on Twitter at Big O Show and email Orlando at Big O Radio Show. Let's take a quick break. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opa-locka, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 Little music news today. In 1965 on this date, Rolling Stones show in Dublin, Ireland ended in a riot when 30 fans were rushed off stage. Mick Jagger was knocked to the floor while the rest of the band fled. Sounds like a crazy-ass concert in 1965. In 1982 on this date, a week that will go down as one of the more regretful weeks of my entire life. I have never recovered from this. I never will. And that's because a 3-day festival called the US Festival was held in San Bernardino, California, featuring performances from Tom Petty and Fleetwood Mac, The Police, The Cars, Talking Heads, The Kinks, Pat Benatar, Jackson Browne, The Grateful Dead. Steve Wozniak, Apple co-founder, bankrolled the event. Judas Priest was there, Motley Crue, Triumph, Missing Persons, Oingo Boingo, Men at Work. I mean, it just...
One of those Fuse channels or something just had it on last week, and I recorded all 3 of them.
All 3 days? Yeah, Berlin.
Men at Work?
Yeah,
Men at Work?
I just said that.
They closed up Friday night, I think it was.
God, it was just... Every time I see that, the concerts, and I just, it's just one of those things. My dad
has there been anything?
That's the one thing. My dad was so cool, let me go everywhere. He did not let me go to this because it was out of state. It was across state, and I really wanted to go to this thing, man.
Has there been another show that had like that many headliners?
Yeah. Yes. The one with Queen was at the. Live Aid. Live Aid was...
okay.
Queen and INXS.
Of course.
Legendary.
Live Aid was all the 3 continents and Genesis, Phil Collins
that's
doing
it.
the chase.
It's Woodstock, US Festival, Live Aid.
And that's it.
I think the greatest festivals, yeah. Yes.
I think it's pretty... Because they're all headliners. Like, there's no mediocre, middle-of-the-road act. They're all amazing.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about that.
So, the next time this comes around, right, We are there, come hell or high water, right?
Yeah, but the problem is it won't be like it was. That's the problem. It won't be the same bands, bro. You're not going to see David Bowie. You know what I mean? It's just you're not going to see David Bowie, so it's just not the same. It's not the same. You know what you saw at US Festival and what you saw at Live Aid is, Woodstock like.
That's probably once in a lifetime.
Yeah, it's modern day Woodstock like, and and we don't have those kind of bands anymore. A lot of them are gone or dead or whatever, and there's some left over, but at this point they're so much older now that they've lost so much at this point. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. But in 1975 on this date, an all-star jam happened at an L.A. party for actor Peter Sellers. He was celebrating his 50th birthday in 1972. The group called themselves Trading Faces. It featured Ronnie Wood, Bill Wyman, Keith Moon, Joe Cocker, and David Bowie. Those guys were performing for Peter Sellers. That is so awesome, man. In 1983 on this date, Eurythmics topped the singles charts with Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. One more thing, in 2008 on this date, Slipknot eked out their first #1 album in America with All Hope Is Gone. After a recount of album sales, the guys sold just over 1,000 more copies of their record than rapper The Game did of his. Those are some of the things that happened in music history today. A couple of birthdays today. First of all, we start off in 1948 with Donald Brewer, best known as the drummer for Grand Funk Railroad. They had the #1 single back in those days. Everybody's doing the brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. There you go. Which, by the way, was produced by Todd Rundgren. Okay? Hey, you didn't know that? Yeah, well, Todd Rundgren's one of those king-size badasses.
One of those, when you go to Wikipedia, man, and you just see the list, it's like, what?
Yep. Al Wilson, guitarist-songwriter with Canned Heat, was found dead at fellow band member Bob Height's garden in Topanga Canyon in Los Angeles at the age of 27. All right? So, sadly there. And they performed at Monterey Festival in 67 and in Woodstock in 69. Monterey Pop is probably behind Woodstock, the US Festival, and Live Aid. It's right there. It's probably that next level of festivals.
Topanga Canyon, bro, that place is so awesome.
Ike Turner on this date back in 91 was released from prison, having served 18 months of a 4-year prison term. He had been arrested 10 other times. In an interview with Variety, he claimed to have spent over $11 million on cocaine. How do you snort $11 million in cocaine? How do you snort $1 million in cocaine? How do you snort, period? But I'm just saying, $1 million?
Dude, you think your
$11 million?
Your heart would absolutely explode, right?
Yes. Yes, of course. 2009 on this date, Madonna's Sticky and Sweet World Tour became the highest grossing tour ever for a solo artist, making $408 million. The 51-year-old singer had performed in 32 countries that year. In 2010 on this date, Mike Edwards, founding member of ELO, was killed in a freak accident. Listen to this. When a giant bale of hay tumbled down a hill and crashed into his van. The 62-year-old cellist died after the 600-pound bale rolled down a steep field in Devon, southern England, smashed through a hedge, and careened on the road. Edward played cello with ELO, the 7-piece band led by Jeff Lynne, from their first live gig in 72 until he left in January of 75. He quit, by the way, to become a Buddhist, changing his name to Deva Pramada. And the guy dies from a 600 pound of, no, I'm sorry. It was 1,323 pound bale. It was 600 kilograms, I guess.
Right. Yeah, 2.2.
So it was 1,323 pound bale, bro. That's a huge bale.
You know what it is, though? Because I was thinking, the square one. No, these are the ones you see rolled up.
Yeah.
And it just,
So that some bitch just gained.
It's like a huge boulder. It's like a rock.
I mean, you die from a bale of hay, bro, hitting your car?
And he and he wasn't in a car. He was in a van. Okay?
Whatever.
That's
not the way to go, bro. I don't want on my tombstone I died because a bale ran my ass over. That's terrible. Nobody should go out that way.
Well, are you talking
How about old age? How about
what kind of bale
laid?
is it? Because we're talking a bale of hay. Now there's another bale.
I don't want to get run over by a bale of weed. You want to smoke the bale of weed. You don't want to get run over it.
No death by square grouper.
Oh, that's terrible. On this day back in 2017, lights. In 2017, Walter Becker, co-founder and guitarist for Steely Dan, passed away at the age of 67. Steely Dan was named after a sex toy in the book Naked Lunch by William Burroughs. They released their first album, Can't Buy a Thrill, in 72, and had 1973 U.S. 11 single Reelin' in the Years and 9 other U.S. top 30 hits. And also, by the way, Becker had produced records for Ricky Lee Jones, China Crisis, and Michael Franks. Ricky Lee Jones, isn't that Chucky's in Love? Isn't that is it Ricky Lee Jones? Is that her name? Chucky's in Love? It's something like that. If it's not Ricky Lee Jones, it's a 3-name thing like that. If it's not Chucky's in Love, just look that up. Is it Ricky Lee Jones? Because if it's not, it sounds just like that.
Bro, you pulled that one out of your rear, man.
What? It is Ricky Lee Jones?
You're right on the money, bro.
I mean, I know I didn't get lucky, but I kind of know that one.
Hey, can you do that with 6 numbers for tomorrow night, man?
We can try, but I won't share them. I'm going to keep them for me.
You bastard.
I got to make life easy for my hardworking wife and my daughter and my 4 dogs. I don't give a crap about me. I just care about them. I just want them to have an easy life. Screw that. The rest doesn't matter. Vince Scully has joined Twitter and Instagram. I don't know how many of you out there are Vince Scully fans. Vince Scully's that guy that I believe 99% of baseball fans are all Vince Scully fans. I don't care if you're a Giants fan, okay? I don't care if you're a Yankees or a Red Sox fan or even if you're a Marlins fan. I think everybody loves Vince Scully, bro.
You used to watch the Dodgers games at night, 11, 12, just to hear Vince Scully, bro.
Because listening
and you would remember that at the end, dude, are they at home? Nah, they're on the road. To hell with it. It ain't him. Forget it. I ain't watching it. But if they're at home, bro, you watched.
And if you want to follow him on Twitter or on Instagram, it's the Vince Scully. Vince Scully. And he's already verified, too. Which, there's been talk that Twitter doesn't verify people anymore. But when Vince Scully wants to join Twitter, I think Twitter says, whoa, wait a minute, bro, that's Vince Scully. That's royalty. We gotta take care of the man. So he's I looked it up. It was at 100. Let me see. I have the note here. It was 116K when I was preparing this morning for the show. Okay, I'm interested to see where he's at. 125,000.
He picked up
9,000 since this morning.
You know what I love?
Awesome.
You know what?
So awesome.
You know what, man, was amazing about him? He's in his 80s.
No. He's 90.
No, I'm saying when he was broadcasting, on a regular. He's in his 80s, and the guy's, no, I don't need a color, man. I'll do it all myself.
Yeah, he's...
And Man,
Nobody adds color like Vin Scully.
the best stories, blah, blah. He's
best.
over on third. You know what's funny? The
best.
coach and, the three of them, they're a relay. His sister's cousins, uncle, and blah, and they played down in Panama. And, man, dude, amazing.
Super smooth. Let's hear Vin Scully make his announcement that he's on Twitter.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you. This is Vin making his debut on social media, and it's nice to be welcomed. I'm delighted to see if I can't serve you in any way, shape, or form. We might chat about a famous date in baseball, or a player, or a team, and hopefully nothing controversial. This is strictly a meeting of friends having some fun talking about our favorite subject. So pull up a chair and be ready to join me, hopefully, in the very near future as we start our careers together on social media.
Vin Scully, brother. Is that awesome or what? I mean, that's just one of those dudes that you just admire. And think about this. Listen to him, okay? Yeah, he's sounding a little older now, but he's in his 90s.
He's 92, right?
Yeah, 92 or 93, I think it is.
Man.
Okay.
You know what, dude? He's smooth like Nat King Cole.
Yes.
Smooth.
Yes. I mean, Scully is one of a kind, and that's pretty awesome. So if you want to follow him, the Vin Scully. All right. There you go. What do we got here on the text line? Killed by hay. Damn. On the bright side, I bet he was easier to find than a needle. Oh, God. That's just, oh, man. Damn, Pat. That's a good joke.
I had pondered the idea of doing something no. I'd rather do square grouper.
Rosendo says, damn, that's like a baby elephant on top of you. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Cruise Miami music trivia. Name any 3 Miami local bands, any style of music from 86. Local, Secret Society, Information Society. What? No, I don't think Information was here. Secret Society. We'll go with Expose, right? Wasn't one of the girls from here?
Yes.
2 of them?
Hiley High School.
Right?
Yep.
And Casey and the Sunshine Band. Might be a little older, but, what else do we have that was from here?
Nuclear Valdez.
Nuclear Valdez, that's right. Nuclear Valdez. They got a couple there, Tremolio. We got a couple of artists.
The Bee Gees did live on Star Island.
Yeah, they're not from here, but yeah, they made their home here.
Transplants.
Yeah.
Like 80% of the city.
Super Boom Shack put Miami Sound Machine, 2 Live Crew, and Pretty Tony. Nice. Jeff Fox says, Big O, what's up? What's up, Jeff? Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Hey, Jeff, what about Ice Baby?
Well, he makes his home here. I don't know is he from here? Yeah, I think he is, actually. I think Van Winkle is from here. Yeah. I think you're right.
Caned out.
Marilyn Manson.
Boca, I think, right?
Right. Or I don't know. Boca, Hollywood, Miramar. I have no idea where, but it's somewhere in Broward or maybe.
Ingve lived up in Fort Lauderdale, but he's not.
His home here, but not the same.
What about Pat Travers?
Makes his home here too. But we can't do the makes his home because we got half the world making their home
David
here.
Crosby lived by Reflections on the bay. Remember, his boat was tied up there in the bay.
Super Boom Shack says, I bet some of those bands played at the Forest. Nice. Bringing back the Forest. I love it. Cam starting. Wow. That's not a surprise.
I saw Secret Society like 3 times at Casanovas.
Wonder if Scully has any Babe Ruth stories. Damn, that's strong right there. Raiders are playoff bound. Are you sure, Jeff? Are you sure about that?
If I'm not mistaken, that's the same thing that Jeff said last year, right?
Yes. Erotic exotic, Omar Lopez. Yes. Come on, baby, take me as I am. Right? I think that's erotic exotic. I think, man. Jimmy Cephalo makes his home in Florida. Unfortunately, he does. Dougie Fresh gives us a little love on the Super Chat. That's his second Super Chat of the day. Oh, so when are all of us circus carnies, tilt-a-whirl operators, and witness protection people from the chat getting together? When? Where? Well, for sure, we're going to get together for the draft. Okay? In Cleveland, we're going to get together for that. We'll be there all weekend. We'll have our shows, all that stuff out there. So we'll do it there. And we'll have our get-together at the Hall of Fame. But once we get past this pandemic and we can, like, maybe go to a bar and meet somewhere in South Florida, at least for the listeners in South Florida, we'll do that. But, you know, we got to get past this COVID crap. You know what I mean? I got 5 stents in my heart. I got to be very careful how I do all these kind of get-togethers and all that. So I'd like to get past, you know, all this stuff. We had 1,100 cases yesterday in this country, so it's not like it's going away. You know what I mean? We still had, 40-some thousand cases? What was it? 41,211 cases yesterday, 1,090 dead. California had 158 dead, Texas 183, Florida 124, and Georgia 62. Those were the top. South Dakota, North Dakota up at 254 and 267, and 2 and 5 dead. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but they used to be in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in cases, and 0 dead, maybe 1 every once in a while. Now they're getting more dead every day. And they just actually had the first death straight from Sturgis. I don't know if you know that, but we're 3 weeks removed. And that person went to Sturgis and died 3 weeks later. So, but you know what? They probably, he probably felt like they were taking away his freedoms. You know, because that's the ignorant crap that we hear. Oh, you want to take away my freedoms, forcing me to wear a mask. Like it's the end of the world that you've got to wear a mask to protect others. Tampa is this year's version of the Cleveland Browns. People get hyped by big names and always underperform, especially in the NFL. Well, the problem is Baker is not Tom Brady. So there's a little bit more meat to the matter when it comes to what Tampa's doing. But, I'm not saying that I agree totally with you, but I do not feel that this thing is going to work out like other people say because, now you start adding Leonard Fournette and you start adding turds to your team, that's not a good thing. I don't care if you have Tom Brady or whatever. And you already, Ronald Jones II had a really good ending to last season. So they're hoping that the third-year player, because I think last year was the second year, they're hoping the third-year player now finally takes off. And now you bring in Leonard Fournette, and now Bruce Arians had to address the running back situation and say, no, it's Ronald Jones' job to lose. So you're already creating an issue where maybe you shouldn't have had one. But I do understand because Ronald has not crossed that threshold yet. But the problem is you are choosing to bring in a guy that lacks character in Leonard Fournette. And he's always injured, too. So I don't know how this makes a lot of sense. But once you start signing all kinds of people like that, it reminds me of the Dolphins with Shula, and it reminds me of the Raiders a couple of years right after that with their 19 and 21 first-round picks. That's what it reminds me of. That's what, if I'm Tampa, that's what starts to scare me. Let's see. I have to find out if the Hall of Fame will let me in with my acoustic guitar so I can play the backup music for when we sing the Fins song. Oh, now that would be cool if you bring a guitar. I don't know if they'll let you in with the guitar. That's a great question, Tremolio. Pat in Asheville. But that person had pre-existing condition, wait for it, hay fever. Stefano is laughing at turds. He is. He's a turd. You know. I was on a recent conference call with local health officials regarding back-to-school concerns with COVID-19. Transmission between adolescents seems to be very low to non-existent. Yeah, I know they don't care about the adolescents. They care. They don't. The part that they don't worry about is the teachers and the administrators and the cafeteria workers and all. Those are the people that are going to get sick and die. Not the. Very few kids will end up with serious issues. Let's hope. But what's going to be really bad is that they're going to get the older people sick. That's the real problem here. Big O, you putting in work. Nice having you on so late. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Pipe Man Slim. Today we did 2 shows. We did one earlier at Toyota of Hollywood, and obviously we're doing this one here now. We're going to take a break. Kurt Helin from Basketball Talk, from NBC Sports and Pro Basketball Talk. We're going to get into a little NBA talk. When we come back, we'll talk a little Heat. We'll get his thoughts on that and everything else going on in the NBA with Kurt Helin next.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
We're going to talk a little NBA, and of course, Kurt Helin does an excellent job of covering the NBA on a daily basis for NBC Sports. Check it out at Pro Basketball Talk. You can follow him on Twitter at Basketball Talk. Kurt, good afternoon, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Staying healthy, staying out of trouble. What about you?
I am also staying out of COVID trouble because not the rest of the trouble. I'm always in trouble with everything else. But I do have to stay away from that COVID with 5 stents in my heart. So, yeah, that's what it's all about, my brother. Just trying to stay healthy. The question I have for you is, why is it that the refereeing just sucks in the NBA? I mean, it just that call in the OKC Houston game where they call the penalty, but then they call the timeout and CP3 busts them, and then the way the Heat Bucks game ended, both fouls were terrible calls. These are just terrible looks for this league, man. Why? To me, this is the league that's most inconsistent with their referees, more than any of the other, sports in this country. Why, my brother? Why?
I don't know. And it has been, the referees have been, in the bubble, it has seemed even more, they've just been calling things more tight. I don't know if it's not having fans in the building. I don't know what's behind this, but it's like, I don't know how let's start here. Like, I don't know how you make the Dragic call. Like,
right.
He had established position. He was straight up and down. Like, with the game on the line, I just don't see how you make that call. Then you cut what turns around and looks like a makeup call on Jimmy Butler going the other way. Now you're deciding games in the last minute. And I thought the other game for a while, I'm like, look at this. I'm like, this is weird. It's Scott Foster's crew. But, man, they're letting them play. They're letting them bang around in there a little bit. Let the last couple of minutes, look, there's stuff you've got to call, but let them play a little bit. And they're like, they're starting to go that way. And then, no, it didn't happen either. And I wish I had an answer for you because I know these guys study it, and I know that the league works on this, and I get it. It's a hard to referee sport at that level, but you just can't have games decided like that. It was just ugly.
Yeah, it frustrates the crap out of me, and luckily it was kind of, you screwed up evenly, but something that you something you said in your answer has been in our way of looking at this league and the referees for many years. Makeup call. And we've all, and dude, you could call us Oliver Stone or whatever, but if you watch the NBA every night, my brother, you're going to see a makeup call somewhere or another in every game almost. And it's a crazy thing. And we're not out of our minds that it happens. It does happen. It's not, 4 billion coincidence in the last 20 years.
No, it absolutely happens. And it absolutely, it's almost like they think the way to balance everything out is just to, we made a call here, we've got to make a call there to even this, when it just kind of makes the whole process worse. It's just, now you're covering up the mistake, and it never balances out right. So I'm with you. Last night was disturbing, and it was hard. I hate writing. Look, man, I hate writing game stories that talk about referees, and I try not to because, look, if you get a bad call at the end of the game, I get that being the thing you'll focus on as a fan, and every coach that, going back to my high school coach yelling at me about it, and there's 47 and a half other minutes that you could have put this game away, and I get all that. But there was just no way to avoid it yesterday. There was absolutely no way to avoid that. They, in both games, had dramatic impacts on the way the game ended and how it was played, and it just shouldn't. The referees have been really front and center in Orlando, and that's for a good thing when in any sport. If you're saying the referees are front and center, you're in trouble.
I'm with you. Kurt Helin, of course, from Pro Basketball Talk, NBC Sports, joining us. You can follow him on Twitter. At Basketball Talk. And Kurt, when you look at the Heat, okay, we can feel pretty cocky and confident right now, but maybe we're just fans and we're getting a little too excited. You're more neutral. You're out a couple thousand miles away from us. What do you see? Because right now it just seems like the matchup is a real problem for the Bucks, or have things just gone the Heat's way? How are you viewing this?
I would be a little bit cautious as a Heat fan, only in this sense. I think, look, both teams have won 4 quarters over the course of this thing. It's been, for stretches, a little more even than it's looked. And that said, the problems, Miami's killing them at what the Bucks give up. You know, through 2 games, they've shot, I think I've got the numbers right off the top of my head. I believe it's 28 of 64. It's 44% from above the break threes, which is exactly what the Bucks give up every game. The first game, it was death by 1,000 back cuts. Miami just causes problems for the way they defend, and they've been fantastic on Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, I know he had 29 last night, but he has not taken over a game yet. And this is everything Miami is doing, it can replicate. Like, it is not, the Heat are not doing something where you're like, oh, dude, they got hot from 3 and they nailed it. And it's not a one-off situation.
Right.
And the Bucks, I think the really interesting thing I wrote about this today is, like, what Miami's doing isn't like, with all due respect to Eric Spoelstra as a great coach, he didn't write this book, man. Nick Nurse wrote it a year ago, and everybody's been copying it since. And it doesn't matter if Orlando copies it because they don't have the talent to pull it off. But you get up against the Heat, and they don't have answers. The Bucks, they haven't changed their roster to come up with answers. They haven't changed their scheme to come up with answers. They're still playing Giannis 36 minutes a night. If you have the MVP in his prime, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, 40 is not some magical barrier that he can't break. Like, roll the guy out there 42 minutes a night. I don't really get what the Bucks are doing, and I don't get the sense they're going to change. I get a better sense that if they try to change something, Eric Spoelstra will have a plan.
Can they change? What would you change?
I just mentioned, I'm rolling Giannis. For all the problems, Giannis, you got to play him 40-something minutes. You've got to play him more minutes. I know there's been some foul trouble issue. Being less conservative about that. And hey, I know you got your third foul with, 5 minutes, 7 minutes to go in the third or second. I'm not pulling you out. Just don't get another one. And the Heat will go at you a little bit. Be careful. You have to do that with your best players. And they've got to find a way to get him the ball on the move, going towards the basket, without it being him pounding the ball 30 feet away and attacking straight line, because the Heat are ready for that. They're back in transition. You've got to find another way to get your offense going, and they just haven't. I mean, they've had some good games from Middleton. Bledsoe was a boost last night, but I've got to come up with those kind of schemes, and I've got to stop just dropping back on defense. I've got to switch some stuff out higher. I've got to make some stuff happen. I know you can't completely abandon who you are, but this isn't the Orlando Magic where I can go, hey, we shouldn't let Evan Fournier take a lot of shots, but the rest of those guys, man, if Markelle Fultz wants to shoot threes, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's not the Heat. The Heat are just loaded with shooters. The only guy you want shooting from out there might be Jimmy Butler, and he's knocking them down. You've got to switch. You've got to contest. You've got to get them off the line more than they have been.
And by the way, they're lucky because Duncan Robinson has not gone off yet. And
not really, no.
That's scary because he got a few more points in this last game than he did in the first game, but he really has not gone all Duncan on them. And here's the other thing, Kurt. The Bucks, okay, outside of Giannis, he hasn't taken over a game, but the complementary players, I don't know how much better they can play. I don't know if you're going to get more than 23 points from Chris Middleton, 16 from Lopez, another 16 from Bledsoe. He'll give you 14 off the bench. I don't know how much more you want. Do you need 8 people in double figures in order to beat the Heat? Now you're asking for the impossible now.
The thing I like about the Heat and what I like about teams in the playoffs, it's what I think makes Boston good. I think it's what makes the Clippers potentially better than the Lakers. I like teams that can beat you a couple of different ways, that have some versatility to their game. What we're learning and the way the Bucks have been built is they just don't have that. If they cannot beat you their way, there's no plan B. There's no functional plan B for this team. And that just doesn't work in the playoffs. You have to, even when the triplet Heats were, you've got with Bosh and Wade and LeBron, they had to adapt. Like,
Right.
you can't win just one way against really elite teams. When you get to the final 8 teams, final 4 teams, final 2, you've got to have a plan B. You've got to be able to adjust what you're doing and find other ways. And I just haven't seen that from the Bucks. And part of that's Budenholzer, but part of that's just I don't know that he has the personnel to do some of this stuff.
If Miami does get to advance here, the team that I really would fear would be the Celtics. I think they match up really well. But before they get there, they're playing the Raptors. They're leading 2-0 right now. And I got to tell you, Kurt, and I know it's not very nice what I'm about to say, but the Raptors kind of remind me of the Raptors before Kawhi. The team that can win a lot of games in the regular season, but they don't have that one guy to really lift them over the top in the playoffs. DeRozan and Lowry always proved that they were nice complementary players, but they weren't the number one guy. And then we were all thinking, okay, Siakam is that guy that could develop into it, but it just hasn't happened. OG's a nice player, but again, hasn't turned into that guy. And we know Lowry is not that guy. Is that the problem right now, that they have a Tatum and you don't?
That is a lot of it. And this is like you said, I think that analogy of the pre-Kawhi Raptors is pretty accurate, because what they can score, they play great defense, and they played good defense this season, this series. They haven't been terrible on that end. It's a good team they're going against, but they've played solid defense. They get points in transition, and they need them because they're just not that efficient in the half court, and that's what Kawhi changed. Kawhi can go get a bucket, right? Like, he can just go get you a half court bucket anytime he wants. Get to the rim, he'll pull up from mid-range, whatever it is, he's going to get that shot. They don't have that guy now. Like you said, they thought Siakam would be that guy. He's getting pushed around. He's getting pushed around by smaller guys right now, and they don't have anybody else to fall back on. And then, like you said, what makes Boston dangerous is they've got Tatum, but Jaylen Brown can create shots, and Kemba Walker can create shots, and it's just everything starts to open up, and now Marcus Smart suddenly looks like a Curry.
Wow.
And everything's going in, and they become really dangerous. Yeah, they're a tough matchup for Miami. That'll be a fun, if and when it happens. That's a really fun series. And it'll be hard fought. And the best part of that one is also that is a well coached series. That is going to be fun.
What does Toronto do in an off season where if they do get smoked by the Celtics, which it looks like we're headed in that direction? What do they do? How do they regroup from this team?
They have not torn it apart yet. After, like, there was a sense after Kawhi left, like, do they just kind of break this thing up? They have not done that, but Lowry's not part of the long-term future. Obviously, Siakam, OG are the guys. They're all, that's the core of where they ultimately will go. They've got some other young players they kind of like.
Van Vliet, too, I would imagine.
Yeah, Van Vliet. I think Van Vliet's a free agent, which is going to be interesting. But Masai's got some ideas about big game hunting coming up. So, as this team evolves, they're looking to be a team that can be a player in free agency. And to be blunt, they think if Giannis Antetokounmpo decides to leave the Bucks, which is a whole different conversation right now, but if that happens, there's a lot of stars who just wouldn't necessarily go north of the border and wouldn't be like, I'm not sure you could have ever lured LeBron to Toronto, for example, as worldly as he is. Giannis is a different guy. Like, he's not born and raised in Athens, international guy. Toronto, if you haven't been, is a fantastic international, funky city. And they think they have a real shot at him in a way they don't with other free agents. So they've got plans. It's just a question of how that's going to come together.
So wow, you just pissed off a lot of Heat fans, because we're like hoping that we eliminate what's it called, Giannis. And then he's so pissed off, he looks at Miami and he goes, they're loaded with shooters.
Oh, no.
I could just go there and I can get everything I need in Miami, because he would be a great fit in Miami with all the shooters Miami has. Plus, Miami's development program will make him a better shooter, because if you can make LeBron become a post player and you can make Bosh a three-point shooter, it's not like Giannis's shot looks like Larry Bird or something, that then it has to be a miracle that it constantly goes in. No. Giannis has a really nice shot, actually. It's just not accurate right now. and Miami is great at developing players.
Yeah. No, I will tell you that I've had. Look, this has been a parlor game around the NBA now for a couple of years. It kind of comes in and out of focus, and it's just back now. What's next for Giannis?
Right.
And if the Bucks had, and if something changes and somehow the Bucks made the finals, if the Bucks made the finals this year, I think he'll just resign there and believe in them. If he doesn't believe in them as a contender, then he is going to look around. And I've heard from, let's just say, when you play that game with executives, I've heard from more than one, they thought it would be Miami. Again, financially, no taxes, but bigger than that is a place and its culture he wants to live in, a franchise that wins, that is committed to excellence and is committed to conditioning and pushing guys and the physical side of that. You're not going to find guys in much better shape than Giannis, right? Which is the other reason he might want to play him more than 36 minutes. He can take it. He's a guy really into taking care of his body and improving on that end, where I think he's a great, in sort of the way Jimmy Butler is, I think he's a great cultural fit with the Heat. They very much could be in the mix if and when that day comes. And it's such a weird economic and everything else time. And I think the other thing with Giannis you can't leave out of the equation is Milwaukee's the only home he's known, man, in the United States. And it is the first place in his life that he has lived with his family safely. The way they grew up in Athens as immigrants and the life there. And you can find the stories online. I'm not going to get into it, but he has a bond with Milwaukee. And it's not something he's easily going to give up, but he also cares a lot about his legacy and he cares a lot about winning. And if that's not going to happen, the money's not going to keep him there, and he's going to have decisions to make.
Two quick questions, and we'll let you go here, Kurt. Rockets were taken to 7 games by OKC. How can I expect a series against the Lakers now that AD has woken up? After Portland did that job in the first game, Lakers were like, okay, we got to start turning up, and they turned it up, dude. They're playing their lights out right now. Is this a 4 or 5 game series? How do you see it?
I'd say 5 because I assume Harden will go off once. But yeah, here's how I break this down. The tallest starter on the Heat on the Rockets will be 6'6". LeBron's 6'9". Anthony Davis is 6'11". Man, it's basketball. Tall and good beats small and good.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Finally, Denver survived Utah. But I know Vegas has got like an 8.5, 9-point edge here for the Clippers. I kind of disagree with Vegas here. I think Denver is going to make this one hell of a series because of the guys that they have, Jokic, Murray, the Porter kid off the bench. I just really like this team overall. I think they can make it interesting. I expect the Clippers to win, but I don't know about an 8.5, 9-point, advantage. I think Denver can make this a series. Your thoughts on this one?
I think they can. I think when you're talking about 8.5 or 9 tonight, aren't we really though talking about just kind of a short turnaround, letdown game by the Nuggets that's not going to define? I think that's kind of what you're betting on there, which is, hey, this is a pretty good team, but they just came off this emotional, crazy 7-game series. And they're going to exhale for a game, and they're going to get smacked. And that could happen tonight. We'll see what happens. But I'm with you on this. Jokic has got to be huge in this series. He's got to absolutely dominate because it's going to be harder for Murray to go off when you can roll Pat Beverly and then Paul George and then Marcus Morris. And then, oh, by the way, we got that Kawhi guy we can throw on it. And actually, Kawhi's bodied him up the last couple times they played. I was at one of the Clipper Denver games this year, and it was Kawhi was on him. I'm not sure that matchup works for them. Like the other guys are going to have to step up. Jokic is going to have to be huge. They're going to have to get some Gary Harris games and everything else. But I think that they do create some problems for a Clipper team that I don't think is very consistent.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Follow him on Twitter at Basketball Talk. Check him out on NBC Sports. He is Kurt Helin. Kurt, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, and enjoy the B-ball tonight.
I will. Take care, buddy.
You got it, my man. There you go. Kurt Healing, good stuff there, as always, for joining us. We really appreciate him. Did you see The Rock and his family ended up getting COVID? The entire Rock family, husband, wife, and the 2 daughters, everybody got COVID. They had a neighbor come over, or a family friend came over and ended up spreading it to them. And so apparently he says it wasn't a smooth go, that they struggled a little bit with it, but they're all fine and they're all healthy now. He wasn't specific enough. Now, he did say, hey, take it serious. This thing ain't no joke. I've had, he says, I've had some doozies in the past, but this one was tough. So apparently he might have struggled a little bit with this COVID stuff. Again, we never know how it's going to affect people, And The Rock is in, sick-ass shape. I mean, the guy he's a rock. That's what he is, But it's so unpredictable, and I saw that the Rock ended up getting COVID-19.
The thing that's really disappointing, because I've talked to 2 people, they're acquaintances, you know what I mean, that did get it, okay? And they had a pretty easy go. And they're like, it's no big deal, and and I'm like, no, man, you can't say that. That's you.
Right.
Okay? Come on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's
when people are talking about that they can barely breathe going upstairs 3 months later, No,
come on. I'm with you. That's why it's, but I saw the story, and I saw that The Rock ended up testing positive, and they already went through their quarantine period, and they're no longer, what's that called? They are
in lockdown.
No, not in lockdown. What I'm saying is that they don't have the virus anymore. They're not contagious.
Oh, okay.
They're not contagious anymore.
I was to say, the last time I saw The Rock, he's doing those commercials for Voss water, right?
Yes. Yeah, Kirk Cousins, by the way, speaking of COVID, we told you about the story yesterday, right? That he was on the Andrew Brandt podcast. Can we play the stupid comment from Kirk Cousins on the Andrew Brandt podcast? They were asking about COVID, right? I'll let you hear it. Brandt was asking from 0 to 10 about, where he stands on the whole COVID issue. Here it is.
On that spectrum, if 1 is the person who says masks are stupid, you're all a bunch of lemmings, and 10 is I'm not leaving my master bathroom for the next 10 years, where do you land?
I'm not going to call anybody stupid for the trouble it could get me in, but I'm about a 0.000001. Yeah.
Really? How come?
Yeah. I just, I want to respect what other people's concerns are. But for me personally, if you're just talking, no one else can get the virus. What is your concern if you could get it? I would say I'm going to go about my daily life. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Survival of the fittest kind of an approach, and just say, if it knocks me out, it knocks me out. I'm going to be okay. Even if I die, I die. I kind of have peace about that. So that's really where I fall on it. So my opinion, wearing a mask and is really about being respectful to other people. It really has nothing to do with my own personal thoughts.
So obviously he doesn't take it serious, and survival of the fittest. If I die, I'm all right with it. I thought he was married. So I don't know. Wives really. I mean, unless your wife doesn't love you or your kids, then that's a whole different ballgame. But I don't think people that love you really want to hear. Well, if I die, I die. I'm at peace with that. Hey, I'm a lot older than Kirk Cousins because he's probably 30, 31 or something. So I'm 20 years older than him, I would imagine. Maybe he's 29. I don't know. He's somewhere in that area. I'm 20 years older than the dude. I don't think he's older than 33. So I've lived a little longer than he has. Guess what? I want to live a little longer, too. I don't feel like dying tomorrow, next week, next year. I'd like to live several more years.
Bro, when things are open and we're able to, it's pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Life is good.
So obviously he got a lot of heat for his irresponsible comments. Well, let's watch a quarterback play like a cornerback.
I went on that Kyle Brandt podcast about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago in July, and what I was trying to say back then. Admittedly, I probably wasn't as clear as I would have liked to have been. But what I wanted to say then, what I would echo again now, is that while the virus does not give me a great amount of personal fear, there's still great reason for me to engage in wearing a mask and social distancing and washing my hands as frequently as I can and following protocols that have been set in place. Obviously, to be respectful and considerate of other people, which is very important. But then also, to be available for all 16 games this fall, because as the protocol is set up, if a player were to test positive, they would be potentially out of a game or games. And so, there's plenty of reasons to wear a mask, social distance, and be very vigilant to help stop the spread of the virus. So that was the heart behind what I was trying to say in July. Admittedly, I didn't say it as clear as I would have liked to. So I just want to, share that same message again and hopefully articulate it a little bit better. But that has always been my heart and is again now just trying to say that.
Well, if he gets it, he gets it. If he dies, he dies. It's no big deal. Now it's a big deal. I wonder who approached him. Was it his wife? Was it his agent? Was it the Vikings? Like, Kirk, you're our quarterback, the face of the franchise. We really don't want the face of our franchise to say, well, if I die, I die. If I get it, no big deal. Survival of the fittest. Do you know, Kirk, that there's a lot of people that have died that were actually in shape? Yeah. I get it. The majority of the people are older and they've had, pre-existing conditions and things like that. And this thing finishes you out. You know what I'm saying? So I get it that if you have a pre-existing condition and you get this, it may end up finishing you out. I understand all that. But there are people that are healthy that didn't have any pre-existing conditions and this thing got them and it killed them.
Kurt has one more thing to say.
Say, okay, I was a dumbass.
Yeah, there you go. Mike Gundy, by the way, who is a dumbass. Where is Kirk Cousins wrong? He is said he is following CDC guidelines and conscious of others. Now he did it. He wasn't like that. Not the second go, I'm at 0.00001. If I wear it, it's for other people. I don't really believe in it. Come on, man. He backtracked now. But it was like a very loosey-goosey, statement, a month and a half ago when he was on the Andrew Brandt podcast. I'm just saying. It's just insensitive when you're a public person like that. Remember, if you say it, nobody cares. If Kirk Cousins says it, it's a whole different ballgame.
You know what, though? We've seen this. What was it? Chuck Woolery?
Yes.
His son, right?
Yes.
He said some stupid thing just like Cousins, and a day or two later.
No.
And a day or two later, my son got it. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When it hits your doorstep, man, that's when your eyes get open.
That's right. All right, let's take a 2-minute break here. We'll come back on the other side for the final segment, the home run segment of our program. We'll do that when we come back on the other side, right here on the Big O Show, live from Hialeah Park.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
We're back. Steve Calabro is kind enough to join us here, the casino manager at Hialeah Park. And Hialeah Park is open again. We're open to what, 9:30 tonight now?
9:30 tonight. We open it in the morning at 9 a.m.
Curfew.
We close at 9:30 due to the respect of the Dade County curfew.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that curfew
gets
lifted soon. I have this feeling. I don't have any information about it. It's just a gut feeling. You know, I've lost a lot of wagers making gut feelings, but I have this gut feeling that maybe after the Labor Day weekend, maybe if the numbers still stay, start to be in that same range that they've been in the last few days, except for the crazy dump that Quest Diagnostic did, that was another crazy thing.
Yeah.
That's another show in itself. But if the numbers stay down, I think that the county government will lift that 10 p.m. curfew. So we're closing at 9:30, so it gives everybody a chance to get home.
Yeah, you don't want to get people in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want to get people in trouble just because they came to the casino. But I got to tell you, one thing it's a very hard task. And, it's one thing you're running a business. There's 1,000 moving parts. But I'm fairly pleased with what the customers are doing. The customers, really 99% of the time, have been doing the right thing. They get their temperature check. They come in. They sit, it's 2 or 3 slot machines apart. They wear their mask. Now I'm sure we're going to get some knuckleheads. On the weekend we'll be a little busier. And
you're serving alcohol?
So we are serving alcohol, but you have to drink and eat and consume it completely outside the building.
Well,
people are consuming considerably less.
My point is, if you have less alcohol, you'll have less chances of what you're just talking about happening.
And you're right, because last time
that's really what breeds
the
all
alcohol
the
will drive, because that's what we had. We actually had people that wouldn't wear their mask. They got a little too tipsy. And next thing you know, there was a lot of trouble.
The NFL teams are not serving alcohol because the few thousand that they're going to let in, they want to make sure that they behave. There's no tailgating. So unless your ass is just drinking as they drop you off, and then you get in and you got, and then you're just inebriated from the second you walk in, and then that's where you get all your problems. That's where you get the fights.
Case.
That's where you get the people that act like idiots. And so if you have less alcohol involved in some of these situations, you will avoid some of those.
And we have significant. We've seen the sales the last 3 days. We opened Monday. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we saw our sales are significantly less. I mean, a big, big reduction in alcohol sales. But we're happy to be open. We want to thank the county government and everybody that.
Sure.
Hey, thank you for listening to us as an industry. We put over 300 people back to work. The employees have been, not only are the customers doing the right thing, but the employees are doing the right thing. And so I see, at least when I walk on the floor, that group of employees all doing the right thing. One thing that, we are open for poker and for slots. So, and on tomorrow,
Champions
opens for the
Derby.
It's Derby weekend. Kentucky Oaks tomorrow. We're opening tomorrow at around, we'll be opening around 10:30.
All right.
Because I think the first post is somewhere around 11 or something.
Oh, okay.
It's real early. It's a very early post. So both days will be open around 10:30, just around 10:30, quarter 11. We're going to open on Friday and Saturday. Normally we open around 12, but this is a little bit of a special weekend. So that's a good thing. Another great thing. Little weird things though. I want to share with you weird insider casino stuff. So we had, we bought somewhere between 60 or 70 hand sanitizers when the first COVID stuff happened.
I remember.
The county government said, listen, we want to significantly increase the customers' ability for hand sanitizers and washing their hands. So I was able to secure another 110, an additional 110 hand sanitizers. So I want you to, when you leave.
Oh, I saw it already.
They're like.
It's like every couple feet.
Yeah, it's like, it's as.
Almost like every island, I think, has one.
Yeah, it's literally within every 10 or 15 feet. You get it from a machine, you walk about 5 steps, Boom, you got a hand sanitizer. So-
Every row of slot machines
every
on
island.
on the east and the west side.
Yeah, Doesn't matter if the west side, east side, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So we take this serious. We're in this together. We're in this.
And by the way, I think that's why you see the customers mostly following rules, because it's taken a while for people to actually respect this thing.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, it eventually affects you one way or another. If you don't get it, somebody a family member, friend,
somebody,
and then you start to, and then that kind of then opens your eyes a little bit. And then you also notice how it's changed our lives and how difficult it is for you now to run this business, compared to pre-COVID. And we've got to get through this. But the only way we're going to get through this is if we do it all responsibly and we have a way of mitigating this crap so we can all get our lives back. And I think people are realizing that if we don't mask up and if we don't, space up between each other, we're going to keep this thing around, and we're going to have to live like this permanently, and nobody wants to live like this permanently.
Yeah, I even went and I talked to some of the people that work in the offices, right? I said, listen, 95% of the meetings you have can happen on the phone. We have WebEx, where all my staff meetings I've had, the last 10 staff meetings I've had, it's all a WebEx. So I'm looking at a computer, I'm on a camera, and I can see you on the camera. It's not that, it really isn't that bad, to be honest with you. The meetings are just as efficient, in my opinion. Some people don't like it, that's just transitional stuff.
Yeah.
But I've even told people, listen.
Hey, you avoid the situation when somebody farts in the room and
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's quiet, you're smelling it.
The whole farting
you're
thing
like,
is bad.
There you go. Nobody,
Well, I got one for that though. So I told some of my staff members, we have a lunchroom outside, out back of our office. It's outdoors, and it's very long. It's a solid 25, 30 feet long, and it's really made so that sort of 4 people can have lunch at one time, but you're literally 8 feet apart.
Okay.
So if you have a meeting with 5 or 6 people, just go out to the lunch table. You're outside. Look, it's Florida. It's not like we're in the Northeast where, in the wintertime it's going to be 22 degrees. You're sitting outside.
Yeah.
Take your jacket off, relax.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to take your jacket off over the last... Wow, it's been hot. Dude.
Oh man, you might have to go out there with your shorts on, but it's been hotter than anything.
Dude.
But we're just trying to do everything and also do it short. But I want to switch gears just so all your listeners know we're open.
Super Boom Shack is asking, are you disinfecting the poker chips?
All right, so yes. The answer to that is yes. So we assign a couple of our supervisors, and so you can actually, when you come to our poker room, you'll see them that we lay them all out. We have these UV lights that we disinfect. Keep in mind that we also have chip cleaners. So when they go into the cage, we've invested in 2 very large chip cleaners, and they get, when the chips go into the cage, before they leave again, they've been cleaned. Normally, the protocol is you'd clean these chips once every 4 or 5 months. We're cleaning them every day. And by the way, in addition to that, we have our shields. People are very our protective shields on our tables.
Yeah, it's really
pretty,
cool.
Pretty like I think sort of industry leading. We are also, our shields were able to be adjusted. So yes, we opened up on Monday. We were 6-handed. Today today we started a little, and tomorrow we're going to 7-handed. Nice. So we bought more shields. And ours are adjustable, so we can just slide everything apart. So we're going to 7-handed with the shields. Every night, at the end of the night, we have a cleaning company come in, and they electrostatically disinfect the entire facility, the offices, the poker room, the cage, the slot floor, the slot cage, everything. Matter of fact, we know they're there because in our office, it makes the paper curl up. So if you have paper on your desk, I walk into my office the first couple of times we did this. I said, what's all my paper? It's like, it's not laying flat. It's all curled up like this. So if I send you anything and it's curled up, it's definitely clean.
How much? I don't. I don't expect you to give me a number, but give me a percentage on running this business now with COVID. How much have your expenses gone up?
Okay, so expenses, we're actually still getting our arms around that, and I'll tell you why. Because in COVID, there was some initial expenses, so that's more of a capital expense. I can give you some stuff. We spent well over $60,000 or $70,000 on plexiglass shields. In this little casino, there's over $60,000, maybe closer to 70, of plexiglass protective shields.
I hear plexiglass is more expensive than gold right now.
It's like 50% increase in just the raw goods.
Yeah.
Luckily, we bought that stuff very early. We bought things like our chip cleaners. They're $20,000. The UV lights. So we bought a lot of initial investment stuff, and that has our finance guys putting that all together. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Like at least 200, at least. Probably way more than that. So that's that. Then there's the ongoing cost. The electrostatic cleaning every day. The hand sanitizer. Those hand sanitizers got to be filled. Right now I got 300 gallons of sanitizer up in my storage. Oh, by the way, I had to build a cage. I built a fenced cage that's locked. It's the COVID cage.
Yeah.
All the COVID stuff is locked in behind.
Hand sanitizer is.
It's like a little bit,
it's gold now.
It tends to walk.
Especially with some of the stuff having methane and whatnot in it.
Yeah, some of them are bad. Some of them are bad.
Quality stuff.
And we're making sure that's not ours. Is not the methane stuff. So we had like hundreds of thousands of dollars of an initial expense for investments for stuff, and then we have ongoing costs. And keep in mind that our poker revenue has taken a pretty big hit. It's taken. That's unfortunately, that's a very, very, bigger than I thought it would take. The slot revenue has been pretty steady. That's been pretty steady, and I'll let you know about simulcast over the weekend. But it's Derby weekend, but even simulcast, we have to operate at 50%.
That part, I don't expect you to be at the same part. I'm just saying the expenses to run this place. COVID, and it's doing it to everybody, whether you own a restaurant or it's a casino or wherever you're at, man. I don't care if you're a car dealership. Everything has changed for everybody, and so to run your business, there are certain requirements right now that just raise. And I feel terrible for these restaurants that have been closed forever.
I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah,
I don't know how they can do it.
And then they're adding all these things, and they've been closed and open and closed, and it's like I feel so bad for the restaurant industry, man.
I will tell you,
Nobody's
big
taking a bigger
percentage
hit.
aren't going to reopen.
Oh, no,
they're not
I know.
going to make it. They're not. I feel for them because look, the casino industry. We're close. We're close to the restaurant industry. Just in natural in our heart. We're all service industry. We know about hospitality, hotels too, but the hotel business, the restaurant business. There's a lot of places aren't going to make it.
I know.
We feel as long as we can maintain staying open, we're going to be fine.
Right.
we're going to make it. But we feel for our sisters, our brothers and sisters that are in the restaurant business.
I feel terrible.
It's
how many people are
one.
out of work because of that. And then just the thought of somebody that built up their careers and their businesses, and then they lose it within a couple months.
Yeah, 6 months you're done.
And a half a year of hell. It causes everything that you built up the last 10, 15, 20 years. That's just that's depressing, man.
Since March 16th, we've been closed 146 days.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this once before. You got to hand it to our owner. Our owner paid everybody. Everybody in this building, in this business, got paid for 15 weeks. The first 15 weeks of this mess since March 16th, around that time. The first 11 weeks, first five weeks was out of his pocket. Out of his pocket. The second 6 weeks was his pocket. He had to front it, but we have PPP money. Then we were open 3 weeks. And then there was a week, it was like half his pocket and the last couple dribblings of PPP money. And then July 2nd, that was unfortunately we had to lay off a big portion of our staff. But they are back. When we called them on Friday, we got the notice on Thursday night. We start calling Thursday and Friday of last week. They were like, "Can I come right now?
Right.
Do you need anything? Can I help you set up?" Like, we did need some people to set up too, but we needed about 20 people. We had about 120 say, "I'll come right now.
Of course.
I'll be there in a half hour."
Of course.
You know what I mean? So we've got a really good team. They're not only good service people, but they're just dedicated to this Hialeah Park.
I tell Bill all the time, any of us that are still making some money, we're blessed, bro.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that are just out of work, period. They got no options right now. You know what I mean? And I know we're slowly all getting back to work.
It's a little at a time.
It's going to take a while, but
I got to tell you,
we have a lot of Americans that are hurting right now.
I got to tell you, it was a little weird with Broward being open and Dade being closed. I understand the cases, but I did a study, and I should have brought it with me. I have it upstairs. I'm going to bring it back. So from like around July 10th, we did some statistical studies. The positivity rate in Dade County and the positivity rate in Broward reduced every day, like constant reduction, the same level from July 10th till about August 20-something when we ended it.
But how many total cases?
Okay, total cases are more, but we have more population. We have 3 million people here. They got 1.8 million there.
Well, then we have a bigger problem.
Now, the daily cases reduced right around July 10th or so. The cases per day started to reduce. Obviously, there was more. I agree with you. There was more in Dade.
And that's what keeps us closed.
More in Dade and more in Broward, but they were both being reduced.
Trending.
The 7-day average was tracking the same, which means that casinos open in Broward, closed in Dade, had nothing to do with the actual positivity rate because everything was going down, even though casinos were open in Broward.
And restaurants.
And restaurants, 50%, and tribal casinos that may or may not. And so same thing, tribal, and there was actually tribal in Dade too, which I think I'll say this.
And we have less protesting going on, which
has slowed, yes.
Which that also, again, I think people, they're starting to get it.
But I think we also do it very well here at Hialeah Park. I think we've got every aspect. People are telling us all the time, I tell them we did 6 or 7 things, and they say, I did 5 of those things. I didn't do all 7 of them. But our owner's been committed to it. Our management team's been committed to it. We're in for this. We're in for the long haul on this one all together.
If we don't do it right, we're not going to get back on track.
It's going to be a mess.
So your owner gets it, is what it is.
But I want to change directions. Talking about an owner.
Let's talk a little sports.
I'm going to talk about an owner. You bring up an owner.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if the owner, it's just. We talked a little off the air, but I want your listeners to I'd love them to weigh in. I wish they would call in as we're talking.
I could text in.
So I just believe from a sports league standpoint, I was in leagues when I was 8 years old until I was 20 years old. Every various type of league. It just makes no sense when there's an inconsistency. That's the only thing that we always ask about in sports is let's be consistent with the ruling.
It's money, bro.
I know money, but
it's money.
I'm done with that excuse.
He's complaining because some NFL teams, 6 NFL teams, will have fans and 26 will not. But there are 32 teams that are losing a bunch of money, and they all looked at each other and they all probably agreed whenever your county allows fans, then you will get the opportunity to have your fans in the building.
That's well stated, but I think there's more to it.
The NFL, there's not more to it.
Yes, there is.
The NFL only cares about money. They
Listen.
don't care about the players. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about anything else. They care about the bottom line.
Well,
That's
listen.
all they've ever cared about. That's why the pandemic never stopped them.
I've never been a big fan of Roger Goodell. But Goodell is making a colossal error in this call.
He's not making that call.
Well, he could, and he should.
He does not.
He could make a league rule.
He can't make anything.
He could suggest a league rule.
There are 32 people that pay his salary. They tell him what to do. So whatever bad decision you think he's making, they're making. It's the owners that agreed to that.
Okay,
and those 32 owners agreed that, hey, we're all losing money, but the second any of us get to have fans, go for it, because we're not going to wait for all 32, because then we'll have other
Listen.
teams losing money for no reason at all.
Then I'm going to tell you this. Then I believe that the owners. For a couple things. Well, this is Billy. This is a debate. This is a true debate here. First of all, in my opinion, Goodell could make that statement. Listen, it's the owner's call, but I suggest if he had a set of gazungas, he could make that statement. He doesn't have a set. I get it.
No, he can't have a set because then he'll get fired.
Listen, if he's on the side of right, I think he won't get fired. But that's a risk he's not willing to take. He makes a lot of money, so he's not going to take that risk.
I don't think
he's greedy.
I don't think he has a tight contract like Kenneth Mountain Landis when he took over the Major League Baseball, and it was like for life, and this is the way it is. They're puppets, man.
Listen,
all the commissioners are puppets.
I think he can make a statement. I understand your point.
Except for the NBA. The NBA.
You know what? Yes.
The NBA
David
is
Stern. Yes.
Well, no, Silver.
No, but it started. But no, I'm saying it started with Stern.
Yeah,
that he had a real commissioner.
The commissioner there actually does stuff for everybody's best interest.
I think
the commissioner in the NFL only does things that benefit.
Okay, they're human.
I get it.
The commissioner of the NBA has a human element. You know, they have a heart.
Listen, I think you can make a statement. I get your opinion. The next thing is, I think the owners are wrong because
that's fine.
The owners are wealthy guys, right? The owners of the NBA teams are pretty wealthy too. But Ballmer's worth billions of dollars, just like Stephen Ross is, right? So
have you watched what's going on? Who handles things better, the NBA or the NFL?
That's exactly my point. So the NFL this is the mistake that the NFL is doing right now, and the fans need to tell the owners, you're wrong. Step up and do the right thing.
Problem is, the NFL is Teflon. They can get away with whatever they want.
No, I think what you're saying, it's really they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
And the fans need to say, hey, owners, you're wrong, and start caring.
And they won't.
Well, that's a problem.
All right, let me just add it, and I know I'm going to insult people out there and don't care. This ain't
going to be your first time.
The fans are tools.
They're what?
Just the fans are tools.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And they're going to do whatever the NFL says, and they pay whatever. You realize that the NBA walks into the TV companies, and they negotiate a contract for TV rights, right? The NHL goes and negotiates with TV rights. Major League Baseball goes into. You know what the NFL does? The NFL goes in and says, "This is what you're going to pay."
I get it.
There are no negotiations.
Well, that's a problem with a monopoly, then, right?
That's a problem with power. When you have the power that you can overcome those kind of things.
Yes.
Okay? We have a guy that has orange hair that lies every day in press conferences.
But wait a second.
Every day.
Yeah, but what you're saying,
and he gets away with it.
But let me just respond to that.
Power.
Right? I'm not saying that's what you're saying is wrong or right.
No, I know what I'm saying is not wrong.
I just want to respond to it.
It's a fact that he lies.
I want to respond to it. But if you go the other way and you talk to anybody that came from Venezuela or Cuba, they're like, oh my God, we don't want to go that way because then eventually one guy gets control of the military and becomes the powerhouse, and you got Maduro running Venezuela, and you got the Maduro of the United States.
Right.
So you're right. When you were saying one guy, I get what you're saying about the lie. Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying power. I'm just saying power allows you to overcome all.
I think
Ray Rice beats the crap out of his fiancee and spits on her, and they give him a 2-game suspension. But yet, when they get busted and the video comes out, then it's a year suspension and all that.
No, he's done. He's done.
and guess what? Women are tools. They follow the NFL. They wear the jerseys, And yet, there is no sport that has allowed more men to abuse women than football.
That's insane.
Okay,
That's insane,
but
and it's a shame.
but it's another fact. And that's my
Once
point.
again, Goodell should get a set and start making.
It's not Goodell, my brother.
Yeah,
It's
but he
it's
puts
the owners.
No, but he puts down the punishment. Maybe the punishment needs to be a year or 2 years instead of 4 games or 2 games.
If the owners want it that way, then it would be that way. But if
Well,
the
then
owners don't want it that way, they'll give Josh Gordon 8 chances after he's failed 8 drug tests. Okay?
All I'm telling you is, owners,
they don't care.
Wake up and do the right thing.
Too much power.
You make a lot of money on TV. You don't. 6 teams having 10 or 15,000 people in the stands is stupid. It's going to be the.
You
let me
want
tell you.
NFL owners to have a conscience like Mr. Brunetti, and that's not going to happen, my brother.
But a lot of people have consciences. Mr. Brunetti does. You do. I do. Why can't some of those owners?
Those 32 guys, they don't have that. They don't care.
I believe they got to.
They don't care. That's why they treated their players the way they did when it was kneeling. Yet, now 4 years later, now they're all succumbing to it because the entire nation in the world is behind it.
Wait,
meanwhile, the NBA, Trayvon Martin, they didn't say anything. Players, the Heat, they all did all their thing.
But the kneeling thing. Here's my opinion on the kneeling thing, and people are gonna not like this. You're not gonna like it. It's when the NFL is a workplace.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, there's rules at the workplace, and they should be invoked. Those rules should be in place. Matter of fact, I understand the cause. I love the cause. I support the cause. But why don't you take care of the cause from the day after the Super Bowl until the first day of spring training? You got all those. You got five months. You can say every day. And you can.
Why don't you just work with your employees who are mostly black and they've got some issues? And the NBA.
Okay,
but what I'm saying is,
I would be fine with that. But why
again,
they have to kneel?
I go back to my original point.
What about all those people that fought in wars and worked hard?
The
Pledge of Allegiance means something.
My man, they fought to protest.
They did, but the Pledge of Allegiance is the wrong way of.
Who says that? Where's the rule book? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I think
where's
it's
the
wrong.
rule book? Well, it's
respect. The natural rules of respect.
Where's the law?
It was a Navy SEAL who told Colin Kaepernick to kneel.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is,
it was his girlfriend, Billy. It was his girlfriend.
No,
his girlfriend was a radical.
No, dude.
He didn't have that opinion until he started dating that girl.
Forget the girl.
That's just coincidence.
Forget the girl. The Navy SEAL's the one that told him to kneel.
If you're going to do something,
the
he
Navy
told him
SEAL
kneel.
told him. The Navy SEAL told him, you're insulting us by sitting. You kneel. Because you kneel to God. You kneel to kings and queens. Kneeling has always been a way of honoring. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's always been the way.
You know what? There's one shot.
Listen. You're going. Wait, hold on a second. You're going way off the train here.
Way off the train.
Yeah. Because it's not about your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter here. Neither does mine.
Yeah, but it does.
No, it does not.
It does
because
for me.
you don't work in the NFL, so it doesn't matter.
But I spend money.
No, it doesn't matter.
I can.
They don't care about that.
I know, but I can not spend money.
I get that, but they don't care about that because they'll get somebody to replace you. They don't care about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but eventually there's enough people that say, hey, listen, why don't you do this in a different way?
What happened? Where are they? The league.
I'm saying it right now.
The league is just as popular as it's ever been.
No, I don't know. This year's going to be a rough year.
Well, that's COVID. That's money.
Well, it's
that's
COVID.
finances. That's not politics.
Some of it's COVID. A lot of it's COVID, but some of it's the whole succumbing thing.
Nobody's going to give into that.
Look,
that's all lies. That's all lies.
Well,
all
we'll
those
see.
People. Oh, I'll never watch sports again. Oh, bull crap! Please.
No, you know what?
Watch it less.
Look, the bottom.
Wait, I got an idea.
But look, listen. The bottom
There's
line
a
is.
shot.
The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what we think. The owners they have employees that they make money off of, just like the NBA does. And both of those groups are African American groups, and they dominate your sport. One sport says, what do you guys need? We'll back you up. We'll support you, whatever it is. The NBA has in their CBA, that you cannot kneel during the national anthem. The NFL never did that. So
once again, a mistake.
Okay, but
a
again,
mistake.
but that's where your workplace thing doesn't fly because it's not in the rules. Doesn't say anything. You can protest all you want during the national anthem if you want to. In the NBA, you can't. So what they did was, well, we want to raise fists, lock arms, and they allowed them to do all of that. Or they allowed them to stay in the locker room, which is another thing, which they did that for years in the NFL. No players were out on the field when the national anthem was playing, okay? And then just to add to the phoniness of human beings, there's a dude in the stands eating a hot dog. There's a dude in the stand on his phones. There's two women talking. Many men run to the bathroom to go take a leak all during the national anthem. Okay? Everybody.
I don't. I stand in respect.
I'm just telling
you. And I think other people should try it. It's a pretty good way to be.
I'm just telling you the facts.
One of the shots.
I'm telling you the facts.
The nicotine head is running to the corner of the end zone to go to the ramp and go smoke his cigarette. Okay?
And the respectful guy is standing there respectful.
And yes, I get that, but let's not.
That's a fact too.
Let's not hold players to a standard that we don't hold ourselves. We're all sitting on couches when we see the national anthem playing on television. So why don't you stand?
Listen.
Nobody stands.
Look, one of the biggest shots.
Let's not make this sound like we have this incredible respect for the national anthem.
But we do. A lot of people do.
And a lot of people don't.
Well, it would be a better world if more people did.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay, but
maybe the owners should.
But the guy,
maybe more players should understand that because we have this great country, they're able to play a sport and make a lot of money and prosper like they are.
Look, one of the shots of Colin Kaepernick kneeling with another guy. There's a dude over there at the Gatorade getting Gatorade, and they're getting pissed off at Colin Kaepernick. That's got his helmet. He's on his knee, and they're giving reverence.
Listen,
this guy's over here doing Gatorade.
I was just about to say something to follow up on Bill.
But what's so bad about respect of our country? I'm trying to figure it out. Where did we go awry on that one?
What I'm saying is the guy kneeling has way more respect for the country because he's actually protesting than the guy eating a hot dog. Way more.
Oh, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that too.
The two women chatting and gossiping in the stands. The two guys talking about their fantasy lineups.
But wait, time out.
That happens all the time.
When I'm at the game, it looks like to me that the majority of people are standing in a respectful way.
Yes.
So I get it that you're saying that some people are going awry, and those are disrespectful humans, probably in a lot of aspects of their life.
Okay.
I happen to think that respect is a good thing.
Okay.
I think respect is better than disrespect, and I think that their cause is a solid cause, and it's a worthy cause, and it should be supported, and I support it at the highest level. It just seems to me that I think we can get more accomplished if we build on the positive, and instead of tearing down and going down to the negative. That's just that's me. I'm a very positive guy, and it just doesn't make sense.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah, but when we did the Boston Tea Party, we hit the boat and we threw the tea in we didn't wait for it to come on the dock and let's unpack it and then we'll throw it in the water. We went on the boat and
accomplished a lot in positive ways.
Okay, so let me ask you something. When they were kneeling the last couple of years, what was accomplished? What did anybody do?
Look, I think the whole kneeling thing is just it hasn't accomplished. I think there's been more accomplished positively, not on the kneeling thing, in other venues, in other places, in making better laws and in talking to people and learning and putting people together so you understand diverse cultures. I grew up in a very diverse culture. When you go up to the Northeast, it's diverse.
Now is when they're making progress.
No, we made progress for years.
Made no progress.
Not because of kneeling, but for other reasons.
No. What I'm saying is no. There's been no progress on police brutality at all.
Well, no, but but in
now-
equality, there's been progress.
Forget about that stuff, man.
That's important.
No, we're not talking about that, bro. We're talking about police brutality.
We're talking about people being
We're
killed.
talking about people being killed and being beaten. That's what this is all about. This has nothing to do. We know it's a more equal world. We voted in for a black president.
Right.
Gays are in office all over as
able
councilmen.
to get married,
Hired,
kids.
marriage,
Yeah.
the world, we did
I
that
understand.
with positive conversation and positive
no,
laws.
no, we-
not
we-
kneeling,
we've-
not disrespectful.
we
We
have-
didn't do it with these disrespectful ways. We did it in ways that were constructive, not disrespectful.
Exactly.
That's my opinion.
But that's.
I want it to happen. It's better to happen if you build on the positive instead of.
But in this case, it has not. It has nothing to do with everything else. We have advanced in certain areas. I've talked about that many times on this show.
Lots of
Of course,
advances.
we've
Lots of
advanced.
advances.
But when it comes to police brutality, we have not advanced at all. We still have bad cops. We still have people
Police
that
brutality
abuse
police
the law.
brutality is a diverse issue. It's
No,
also
No, it's not.
It's also-
It's not evenly distributed.
not
I'm
evenly
sorry.
distributed, but there's a lot of because there's a larger population of what there's a larger population of whites that have actually got brutalized by police than blacks.
No.
It's just the percentage is higher.
My brother, where do you see the white people getting shot like they do?
Oh,
Where?
I will share
The
with you
guy in
cases.
Kenosha walked, he just killed two
No, I
people
get that. I
and
know those
walked
cases.
by.
You never see that with white people. You never see it with white people.
If that
No
was a
whites
black
get- no
guy,
whites get brutalized by cops.
I'm saying it may happen, but
It
it doesn't.
happens.
It doesn't happen like it happens
No,
with the
but
black
Steve,
community. Not even close.
that guy that's got the AK,
Not even close.
Okay, so
the
wait a second though.
AR-15 hanging.
But look, this is not sports, but
So the 17-year-old with that rifle walking
Thank
through the
you,
street,
yes.
if he was black, what do you think happened?
listen,
He's gonna get shot.
there's also a lot of black on black crime.
No, forget it. That
That's
has
another
not-
big issue too.
That's not
Kills
what
more
we're-
people.
That's not what. Do I care about Cubans killing Cubans? Why the hell should I care about that?
Well, I think you should.
I don't. Those are criminals. Why should we care about criminals? So Italians should worry about the mafiosos?
I think they should go away. Yes, I am worried about it. They
Oh,
should go away.
You want utopia. That doesn't exist, my brother. You want utopia. That doesn't exist. The mob will exist. Whether it's Italian, whether it's Jamaican, whether it's Chinese. So what? The Chinese got to worry about the Chinese gangs? You can't do anything about that.
But
blacks,
what
blacks,
about-
you can't blame blacks for other blacks that are killing other blacks. Those are criminals. They're not blacks. They're
But
criminals.
nobody's doing anything about it. You know what they're saying? The solution is let's defund the police.
And nobody's done anything about it.
Yeah, but I know, but think about it. Nobody's so now they've got a solution. Let's defund the police.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
You know what that means? That doesn't mean destroying the
No,
police.
I know, but it means that they don't have the same resources and you lower the number of people. Lower number of police officers.
What they're trying to do is channel money into
other places.
assisting.
I think you need to do both.
Because police officers are doing too much civil service.
Listen, if you're
civil work.
I know, but you're right. But if
You know?
if you have, no matter what color you are, if you get into a dangerous situation, one of the first calls you make is to police.
Of course.
Yes.
Right. So why would you think defunding would help?
That doesn't mean there's less
Maybe
cops.
training. Maybe
That does-
training. Maybe having some listen. The guy in
It doesn't mean you're going to
I
have
know.
less cops.
No, but what has to happen is you have to have more accountability. Okay. So for instance, the guy up in the poor gentleman that was killed in Minneapolis, 17 prior bad situations by that cop.
Right.
And the liberal attorney general, Amy Klobuchar, had a chance to punish that guy and take him off the force, but she went and she did the exact opposite.
Well, no, because they've been doing
And that was a mistake.
My brother,
maybe
they've been-
he should have been more accounted for, and he should have been fired.
Here's where you're making.
That's what I think he
Here's
should.
where you're making a mistake. You keep putting politics into it.
No, but she wasn't a politician. She was an attorney general at the time.
No, my brother. Republicans and Democrats both suck. All
No,
they've
I get
done,
it. I get that.
All they've done. Listen,
All they
blue
do is argue.
Blue has been covering up for blue forever, and the people in government, Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter. They never prosecute cops. That's why I was telling you.
They need to.
That's my point, my brother.
Okay, but why didn't Amy Klobuchar do it?
Dude, listen to me. You keep going with politics. I just asked you, what changed the last couple of years when they were kneeling? Nothing. Watch the last couple of months. Are you watching cops get charged? Are you watching cops go to jail? Are you watching them now have to get prosecuted? Are you watching that now?
I've seen them. I've seen some of them. Some have not. Some have.
Exactly.
There's been a mix, probably more.
Which before there was what? Nothing.
So why?
So
I don't want to see charges. I want to see convictions.
My brother, why? Well, that's the next stage. Well,
what? What was that?
Court doesn't happen.
I didn't hear what you said, Billy.
I know,
He
but
wants to see convictions.
I want to see convictions.
But the crimes just happen, so the process takes a while.
It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while. But my point is that now's when they're making progress, and the only reason it's happening, it's because now no longer it's about blacks kneeling. Now it's white people all over the world protesting alongside blacks.
I understand that.
Because the black community has been telling us for 100 years that this has been going on, but nobody ever believes it because there was never any cameras. There was never any social media.
Cameras have helped the process.
You're
in a big
damn
way.
right it's helping
In a
the
big way.
process.
That's helped a lot of problems, though. Not just police brutality.
It's exposing the disgusting cops that we have employed in different police departments, and it's also exposing the racist, which we now call Kens and Karens, all over because now they're getting exposed for what they are. So changes are being made, but the reason why change is being made, it's because the rest of the world has finally teamed up with the black community and said, because if you watch the protesters, they're mostly white, not black.
Yeah, you're right. There's a large percentage of white.
It's more whites than blacks.
Yes.
Which is the most beautiful thing I think about all of this is that finally white America has woken, white world has woken up because this is going on in Paris, this is going on in London, this is going on in Mexico, in Brazil. It's going on all over.
Big O, what's going on? What's going on is that if you have a force of policemen and let's say you have 100 cops on your force, 100 guys aren't bad. You're talking about a small number of bad.
They can't.
It's always the the 90-10 rule. You know what I mean?
I'm going to steal the line from Chris Rock. Okay, are you ready for this?
Go ahead. He said a lot of lines.
No, but this is the best, one of the best he's ever had. We can't have bad pilots. You can't have bad cops. Oh, I'm going to have a couple drinks and I'll fly these 300 people into a mountain. One bad pilot is more than enough.
That's one too many.
Okay?
I know.
One bad cop is terrible because he carries a gun.
And there's another
he
problem.
Has power.
There's another problem with a bad
cop.
cop.
We started this whole segment with power. And so that's the problem, my friend. You can't have bad cops.
Listen,
bad
I get
cops,
it. So you got to address the bad
people
cops.
Die.
Yeah,
when
but
you have bad cops.
But you got to address the bad cops because the bad cops are not just being prejudiced. They're being bad cops in a lot of ways.
So that's
they're setting up everybody, whether it's white, black, green, brown, everything.
That's why you got to pressure the good cops to get rid of the bad cops.
Or you have to have accountability. You have to have accountability. So that you can't be. There has to be a consequence when these people do something. And the guy, and I know you're going to say it's politics, but attorney generals need to be strict on it. And
It never has been.
Well, a lot of attorney generals, some have not.
Not for cops. Cops never get convicted. They have, what's that law that they have? They have a law that freaking protects them.
That's for lawsuits.
Yeah, but
immunity for lawsuits.
It keeps you from
but that's not conviction. That's not conviction. That's
You're
a
not
civil
talking
suit.
criminal.
That's a civil suit.
You're talking civil, right?
Yeah, that's civil.
You shouldn't be protected at all for any of that.
I didn't say you should, but I'm just saying that they do get convicted. They should be more consequences for the bad guys because remember what we were taught.
It's the Catholic Church, my brother. They go and hide the priest and put him in some place in some mountain somewhere, and he raped.
I don't know if they hide him that much.
And he raped 15 kids. You know what I'm saying?
So this is my point: is you got to address the bad. The other 95 or whatever that are neutral or good, they shouldn't be disrespected just because there's 3 or 4 bad ones. Just deal with the bad ones and get them off the force.
But the good cops have got to start.
You got to give them tools.
Outing the bad cops.
You got to give them tools.
Problem.
but you got to give them tools. You got to give the good cops tools, because right now, think about how horrible that is. A good cop, because a bad cop, somehow, but it's not just the cops, the legal system, the prosecutors, the attorney generals, they've got to step in. If we're all cops, and God forbid, one of us is, I shouldn't use an example, but there's a fourth guy here. We have a bad cop. And I go and I tell hey, this guy's doing this, he's prejudiced, he's doing that. And now my life gets horrible, and I'm standing strong.
Well, that's how it's always been.
I'm standing tough, right? And then it goes to the attorney general, and the attorney general says, "Nah, let him go." Now I'll never. You could be
You
the
didn't
most
get
prejudiced
backed up.
person in the
You
world,
didn't
right?
basically
So
get
that's
supported
why
and backed
It's not just the cop. It's the attorney. It's the legal system.
Of course.
The attorney general, like Amy Klobuchar, who had like 5 of those 17 chances he could have lost his job. 5 of them. But she was so liberal because she walks through like,
That's
Wonderland.
everybody. Again,
No, not everybody's liberal. Not every judge, not every attorney general is liberal.
Well, give me an attorney general that has prosecuted a bunch of cops. Please tell me who it is.
You know who has done? Oh no, you know who he does? There was an attorney general that didn't prosecute cops. He prosecuted bad politicians. Okay, that was just as good though. I'll get you that.
Steve, it doesn't exist.
I'll get you it.
No, you can forget.
I'll find some.
No, you won't find anything.
I will find some.
You won't find anything.
They're a small number. It's a small number.
It doesn't exist. It's not even worth talking about it.
Yeah, but that's what needs to happen.
Again, you're searching for you want utopia.
No, I want the real fix.
But you're not. You want the real fix.
The real fix has to do with the legal system.
But you're not facing the realities.
The reality, I get it, I understand it.
Until the people that are involved start eliminating those people, we're not going to get anywhere. So it's up to the good cops. And now what we have to depend on is video. We have to depend on human beings.
We vote for attorney
this.
general. We vote for attorney generals in this state. Not every state does.
We just
so
did
when
it.
you
We
vote
voted for
you vote for somebody that's tough.
No, I get that.
Vote for somebody that's tough.
But none of them are
But you
tough.
got to research that because it's not easy. You don't know. You got to look at what.
None of them have ever been tough on cops. They
Look,
just don't go in that direction. That's going to change now.
Oh, it's definitely going to increase. It's going to increase now.
Look, right now, every police department should be going in their files and going, you know what, man? You got some issues here. And all of them people that have any of that stuff before something else happens, every police department should be. Is he racist? Is he over excessive use of force?
But
you know what's really brought this to light?
And you guys aren't living in reality either, because they won't do that. Because
the cops ain't going to do that.
Because nobody wants to be a cop right now. Nobody wants to be a
But you
teacher.
know what- but-
Hold on a second. Nobody wants to be a cop. Nobody wants to be a teacher. So we've gotten to a point now where that position, you're losing power. Look what de Blasio has done to his cops in New York City.
He's tore them apart.
He's killing his cops there. They have no respect. And so now you have, and they don't pay you a lot of money to do that job. So
And it's not an easy job.
Forget Portland.
And you're going to be less protected now as a cop, because now you're not going to have blue protecting blue. All those things are going to change. So now you're going to have problems finding cops. So these police departments aren't going to be quick to get rid of these guys unless they're forced to, because they can't replace the people that they currently have, because there aren't people lined up to be cops at that price. Teachers, by the way, they're going through this whole COVID thing now. Teachers are retiring left and right because they don't want to be in a classroom and die because some kid brought them COVID. And now schools are having trouble finding more teachers because nobody wants to be a teacher because they don't want to get paid that kind of money to deal with some kids.
Wait, time out.
You know what? But they're
I'm just telling you the
two
reality.
of the most underpaid jobs there are.
Wait, time out.
Teachers
time
and
out,
cops.
Time out. I'm going to give you facts. My ex-wife, who I haven't talked to in years, but I happen to know what she makes. She teaches. Last year she taught first grade, I believe, and this year she's going to teach kindergarten. She teaches. So your statement is accurate, a little more accurate in Florida. But in New Jersey, you know what she earns annually? And she works 10 months. She does not work July or August.
All right.
Okay? And yes, she has to bring homework. So do I. So do most people. So do, And yes, take a guess.
How long has she been there?
24 years.
She's probably making around 70,000.
Yeah, 94,250.
All right.
94,250. Let me give you some more facts. In her district, it's not the highest paid. It's not even in the top 50% in New Jersey. It's probably right in the middle, about 40 to 50%. Right? In her district, if you got 30 extra credits, you get a couple more thousand. If you got a master's degree, it has nothing to do with kindergarten, you get a couple more thousand. If you got a master's plus 30, so she could make somewhere around 102 or 103 as a kindergarten teacher. Last year she was first grade.
Still important,
in the
man.
public school system in New Jersey.
Still important.
So,
Very important.
I think it's an important job. I think it's a pretty good salary for a 10-month gig.
Yeah, it's a great salary, but she earned her way to get to that point.
I get it.
She didn't start at 94, dude.
No, I get it, but she was.
She's been there what? 21? How many years?
I think 24 years.
24 years. I bet she started somewhere at 30.
I think she was in the 30. Yeah, probably. Yeah, but full pay, full benefits. And by the way, wait.
Matter. 2730 to deal with 200 brats every day. You can have it, bro.
Yeah, but some people they choose that career because they like that too, right?
I get, but you think teachers are easy? You think that job
I don't
is
think it's
easy?
easy. I don't think it's easy. I think they're paid well in New Jersey.
Well, she's
That's
paid well.
New Jersey.
She's paid. No. She's paid. Dude, she's 25 years in.
Yeah, but wait a second.
You didn't get paid well early on.
No, but if she was 1 year in, she'd be 55,000.
Now.
Yeah, 55 or 60,000.
Yeah, but the way you spend money nowadays, the cost of living compared to 25 years ago,
10 months.
It's about the same thing.
10 months.
Yeah.
10 months.
That's fine.
It's not. Look, it's not a bad salary. It's one of the highest in the country. Okay, it's not a bad salary.
Great salary.
No, it's also high in New York. It's also high in California. It's also high in Connecticut. Florida's very low. Florida's very low, and that's a problem. I get that. That's a problem. That's a huge problem with.
Teachers don't get paid anything early on. It's like cops. They don't get paid a lot of money early on. It's after you build your tenure.
Well,
is when you build up the pension and the salary. That's kind of that's the way life goes.
Yeah, I get it, but you know who gets paid pretty well?
My wife's a teacher. I know. She's been a teacher for 27 years teaching math.
Right.
In a high school.
And if she was in public school in New Jersey, she'd be making about 100,000.
Okay, she's earned it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying she hasn't.
25 years in of teaching. Let me explain something to you, Steve. You got no brain cells left. Okay?
Some people like it. Come on.
No. They may like it, but they're burned out.
They get burned out. About 25, 30 years, they're burned out.
Teachers,
20 to 30 years, they get burned out.
That money she's getting paid, it's well worth it. She deserves that and more, because to deal with 200 kids every day,
I'm not saying
bro,
she doesn't deserve it.
For 25, 30, 35 years.
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve
God
it.
bless you, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
God bless you.
I'm saying they're paid fairly decent in New Jersey.
Ask parents now during quarantine that had to teach 1 or 2 kids every day.
No, I get
ask
it.
them.
Yeah, no.
Ask them now what kind of respect they have for those teachers.
The worst thing is, Big O, is that the teachers don't want the parents involved in the online learning, because now the teacher's under a microscope, right? Because now you got in classroom, the kid was looking at the teacher, but now online, the kid's looking at the computer, and the mother or the father is over the computer.
Sure.
So it's a little harder. I get it. I get that. But I think what you said is much more appropriate for certain states. I think New Jersey is a well-paid education system.
Expensive to live there, too.
You know what? Listen, I'm from there, right? It's not cheap to live in Miami-Dade County.
Oh, no, it's cheap.
There's no bargain in Miami-Dade County, okay?
Oh, I know.
I think it's about the same. The only thing different...
25 years in, man, I have no problem with her earning her money.
No, but you thought it was 70.
Well, because I'm thinking Florida.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, that's my point about your.
A little bit more
that's
expensive.
my point about your comment about when you said, well, teachers don't make that much. Some make a pretty decent salary.
70's good. 90's good.
94 is pretty good.
That's great.
94 is pretty good. 94 is,
But she's earned the right
but it's
to make
40% better.
94. Okay, but she's
I'm
earned
not
that
saying
right.
she
God
shouldn't get
bless
a
her.
nickel. I'm not saying she shouldn't get a nickel. She
but
should get every one of those nickels.
She's probably paying more for insurance and house insurance, and she's probably paying more for than we do.
Big O. This is a whole other segment someday. Homeowners insurance. See, the Floridians, homeowners insurance in Florida is ridiculously high.
Oh, we have hurricanes.
Ridiculously high. I happen to own a home in both states. My home in New Jersey is about twice the size of my home in Florida. My homeowner's insurance in Florida is twice the expense.
Yeah, we have
almost to the penny.
Well, because we have hurricanes. You don't. In New York,
New Jersey gets hurricanes. Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. That's one in 150 years.
No, they get hurricanes.
We get
You get more. Florida gets more. I live in Florida the last 12 years, but I'm just saying that. So it's not the cost of living is high in New Jersey. The cost of living in South Florida is very high.
Yeah.
It's not cheap in Fort Lauderdale. It's not cheap in Miami.
No, South Florida is expensive. Yeah.
And you know housing in this county.
Jacksonville isn't, but here it is.
No, I know, but that's like
right.
Alabama's not too. That's down the road from Jacksonville, right? Almost to a degree, right? But Miami-Dade, there's another problem in South Florida with these young people that are buying a house, right? They're competing with more people. You know who buys a house in New Jersey? The people that are from New Jersey. You know who buys a house in Florida? The people from Florida, the people from the Northeast, the people from South America. So now what does that do? That drives the cost up.
Right.
A three-bedroom or 4-bedroom, 2.5-car garage house in Florida is equal to or more money, depending on the town, than in New Jersey. And New Jersey's expensive.
Right.
Miami-Dade is also expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking the new house, No,
I know.
It's not cheap living here.
No,
So think about your poor wife. No, I'm not saying she's a poor wife, but she's 25 years, and my ex, there shouldn't be that disparity. See, that's weird for me.
I get that.
That's a weird thing. How did that happen? I don't get it. So I'd just like to point out those things so that people do the right thing. So maybe we pay our teachers more. Maybe we have some respect for our flag. I think it's a good thing that all these things. I think some people agree with me.
But it has nothing to do with the flag.
You
have this archaic way of thinking of the kneeling.
Wait.
It has nothing to do with the military.
You know what happened?
It has nothing to do with the flag. It is a protest against social injustice.
No, let me tell you.
It has nothing to do with the
Big O, here's
flag
what's
or the
helped
military.
Here's what's helped the cause. I'm going to tell you what helped the cause. Video.
Yeah.
That's what's helped the cause. I get the kneeling thing. It symbolically looks good for the cause. But if you really look at the root realization of what has helped the cause is video.
Yeah.
The advent of everybody on the planet having a video camera has helped many causes, this cause included. So I'm not saying this cause shouldn't be helped. I'm just saying that you take video out of the picture.
Right.
You could kneel to
you got
for
no
the next
evidence.
100 years.
You got no
Nothing's
evidence.
Gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? What has really helped causes
And thanks to video, we see police officers
doing the wrong thing,
putting their knees on black men and choking them out.
Right, and what has helped the cause more than anything, in my opinion, is the advent of a lot of video access. That's what's really helped the cause. I'm saying that the cause should help.
Right here on the show, we tell people, man, turn on your phone, man, and film.
Video.
It's the only way to get evidence to have something happen.
When somebody does something wrong and you video it, what does it do? It creates a situation where you have to be, there's consequences now. Video allows consequences to be invoked.
Right.
Kneeling is nice. I get it. It's symbolically great, but video really drives the force, in my opinion. Because if you take it out, you lose it all.
Yeah.
You lose a lot.
Oh, if we went back to the old days of it's his word against his word, man, a cop's going to...
Right.
You're lost.
Forget it. If it's cop or not cop, it's his word against my word. But if you have some kind of video, hey, I did punch him.
The awareness doesn't start without the kneeling.
Well, look, the awareness is heightened by the kneeling, but the video really puts.
I get that.
It gets to the masses.
I get that. But
not everybody's a football fan.
Without the kneeling, we don't get here.
I think the video is more important.
Again, without the kneeling, we don't get to the video.
Nah, I think the video. I think the video helped.
We don't get to the video because
significantly more.
We don't get the video because
the kneeling helps. I get it, but the video is really what is the need.
It's the proof.
It's the tool you need.
Yeah, it's the proof. But again, it's the proof because
and the kneeling brings the cause to
It's the proof because
to
people
the surface.
because too many people refuse to believe the black man and what they're going through with police at times.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And then the video now proves it over and over and over and over again.
And the video,
and it's not an Asian dude. It's not a white dude. It's not a Hispanic dude. It's a black dude every time. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
I'm going to get you some. I'm going to get you some other ones.
I'm not saying that it didn't happen to a woman, and it didn't happen to an Asian dude, and it didn't happen to a Cuban dude one day, and it didn't happen to a white dude somewhere. Of course, it's happened to them.
No, there's stats about it, though. There's probably stats.
If the,
I don't know.
Where do the stats back up the videos? That's what I want to see, because the ones I see, they're all black.
Well, because
okay?
because
So
they're in
what-
the media.
what-
because
what are
they're
we-
in the media more so.
So what are we doing? We're stashing the white ones? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know if every media outlet is.
Come on, bro.
Wait, I don't know.
Come on.
Let me finish. I don't know if every media outlet is putting out every video of every cop that
Come
does
on.
that.
Come on.
Look, there's cop cams now. You
Come
tell me those
on.
cops aren't doing bad things to other people?
Well, apparently it's not coming out. If they did, they would put it out there.
Listen, I think a bad cop is a bad cop to a lot of different people.
Yeah, but that's not the not the reality. The
I think that
reality
is.
The reality is that's not what you see on video.
Listen, all I'm saying is a bad cop doesn't say, "Oh, listen, this is a whatever person this is. I'm not going to be bad." If they're bad, they're bad.
Did you watch in Kenosha? They just let the white kid walk around with the
He's a
semi-automatic
bad
rifle.
cop. Okay, but there's also cases. Those cases. I'm not disputing Kenosha. I'm not disputing Minneapolis.
Okay,
I'm saying
so
in
Steve,
the other cases that you
Steve,
don't
if
hear
that kid
about.
is black, what do you think happens, dude?
All I'm saying is that was a horrible thing that occurred.
What happens if that kid is black and he's walking around cops with that rifle?
With the AR-15, man.
Come on, man.
I have to
That's
see the
some
video. I didn't see
military-
that part of it. I didn't see it. I really didn't see it.
He's literally-
I didn't see it. I
it's-
swear to God.
look.
I swear to God I didn't. I swear to God I didn't see it.
The guy's walking right past cops.
With a gun?
They actually, they actually
the guy,
over the loudspeaker.
the guy that killed a couple of the protesters.
Yes.
That guy was allowed to just walk by the cops.
The cops actually ask him, "Is anybody hurt over there?" Literally, the guy's got an AR-15 hanging from his shoulder.
Look, it's horrible.
And he
That's
asks him,
horrible. I
Is
get
anybody
it.
hurt
The whole
over there?
Kenosha thing is horrible. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying there's other horrible things that don't make the news.
You're not answering my question.
What's the question?
What happens if he's black?
I think it would have been a whole different story. 180 degrees. I definitely agree with that.
So then we have a problem.
See, and that's the
I know there's a problem.
The
I know
problem.
there's a problem. But I'm just saying the problem with bad cops is they're bad to a lot of people. More so to black. I get it, but bad cops have to be removed from their position, and you remove them by showing video evidence and by having the attorney general say, "Oh, listen, I'm not going to let him go for the 5th time."
Major cities, man, racial profiling. It
Amy
was in New
Klobuchar,
York.
She did. She let that jerk go for 5 times. He had 17 issues. 5 were like, you can fire him like that.
You got one line material with Klobuchar.
Well, I know
you gotta let that go, man.
Yeah, but she's a good example.
They all do it. See, that's the beauty of where I sit. I don't sit on the Republican and the Democrat side. I've voted for Republican presidents and Democratic presidents.
I voted for both also.
You know, to me, I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it as one side or the other. I look at plenty of states that have mishandled it, and it comes from Democrats and it comes from Republicans. And I have not seen anybody in this country go after cops. Now they're going to finally do it. And why are they doing it? The same reason the NFL changed their stance on Ray Rice, because they got busted. Because now cops are getting busted for all the crap they've been doing for 100 years, that every precinct has 4 or 5 animals in there working, and they don't weed those guys out. Because I know 90-something% of cops are good, but you got to get rid of the bad ones.
We agree
And
that the bad guys
ones-
got to go away.
It's like you said, you got 100 cops. There's probably 4 or 5 of them are bad.
They got to go away.
But you know what? The 95 cops have got to get rid of those 5 cops.
But
Those 5
I gave you
cops
the
bring them
example.
all down.
It's got to happen in the entire system. The other cops.
You know what?
The other cops aren't going to arrest the guy.
I would think the good cops would be pissed off and be like, "Hey, man, you're the problem, buddy."
I think they are now.
They're getting out.
They
are
need
now.
to.
Because now,
Because
because
it's not
now,
fair. Because most of the guys that are good, man, to be dealing with this,
That
that's
makes their
not
job
right.
10 times harder.
That's not
When the
right.
guy's bad. It
Yeah.
makes their job, the good cop's job, 10 times harder.
Yep.
But we got to respect those good cops.
Myron goes, he would have been shot on the spot. Exactly is what would have happened.
And they literally
That
on
kid-
the
that-
loudspeaker say,
if that kid was
I
black,
said it was a different. It would have been 100% different.
forget different.
"You see,
Dead.
they're in a
They would
million."
have shot his ass.
Steve,
They shot a dude 7 times in the back. You know what I mean? A guy they could have easily tackled before he got to the car. 3 guys there, and a nervous cop with a gun, a guy that shouldn't be a cop, panics and shoots the guy 7 times in the
Let me
back.
tell you something. In defense of cops, I'm not defending any bad cops. It's not an easy job.
Oh,
even
no,
a
that-
little bit.
I know that.
It's
No,
a
yeah,
it's an
for sure.
incredibly, ridiculously difficult job.
Doesn't allow you to be racist.
No,
and
no, it doesn't allow you to be
murderer.
racist. And if you're doing bad things, get out. And the system needs to get you out. And the
does.
system's got a lot of components to it.
It
The other
does-
cops, the legal system, the whole system's got to
the
get
union,
you out.
the union protecting
Well,
the
that's
bad
another
cops.
problem,
That's
too.
exactly.
All right.
You know what though? The discussion.
I did get my money back from Miami Dolphins. I did want to say that.
You did?
And I took it gladly, and I said, you know what, I'm taking a break. I'm
should.
taking a break because it's just.
So we're not going to
they're-
see
they're-
Steve in the end zone with
They're
a
only,
beer.
they're only gonna. Well, it's a lottery type thing, so you don't know which ones
You're
you're
one
gonna
of the
win.
Yeah, I'm not
13 or
even in the lottery.
15,000.
I don't need to see it. I mean, let me take a break and reset this whole thing because I'm not sure where I stand 100% until let's let it play itself out.
If you could go to the, if you got a chance to go to the game, would you go?
I wouldn't go.
Exactly.
I wouldn't go.
I mean,
For
considering
a lot of reasons.
our medical.
For a lot of
situation,
reasons, I wouldn't
just-
go. I think it's just because you know why? I have another belief. I'm going to tell you this. I pay a plumber to come to my house and fix the plumbing. I pay an electrician to come to my house and fix the electricity. So when I pay for a game to watch a game, I go to watch a game. I don't really want to see anything else.
Right.
I don't want to see anything else. That's just my personal opinion. I get you have the right to. God bless you. Like when I've seen musical artists and I've paid money and then I wanted to go hear them sing, and then at the end they're telling me what their political views are, whatever direction it is, Republican or Democrat, I never go back. I just never go back. I don't buy any, like I used to like Springsteen, I don't buy any albums, I don't give him any money, because he's too much, like I pay for your album, and I pay for your concert tickets to listen to you sing, because that's your expertise. I didn't come for you to give me your opinion, whether it agrees with mine or disagrees. I want you, I pay for what you do.
Just get up there and sing, buddy.
You're a singer. I want to hear you sing. I didn't come and hear you. I want to hear your opinion.
You're
I wanna
like
hear about your
Robert.
st-
You're like Robert
but every-
Duvall, man. Get out there and surf, and you surf.
But everybody's entitled to one.
They are, but I'm also entitled not to buy again.
Right. That's
so I
fine.
don't. And that's been about 20 years. So I've been very strict to it. I said, you know, even my sister said, well, I thought you loved him. I said, I used to like him, but I went to I actually gave him 2 chances. And the second concert he did, I was like, what is he doing? Like, I don't get it. Like nobody's, look, to me, you talk about people getting up. That's when everybody ran to the bathroom, when he started talking about politics and stuff. And I was like, this is insane. Like, I don't get what these guys are thinking. Like, how about if you played a song? You know what I mean? I know you have the right to do it. And so then for the last 20 years,
But
I haven't
you-
gone to his concert, I haven't bought a ticket.
But you
I
get to
haven't bought
so you get to express your opinion, and I get to express my opinion, but he can't. And
listen,
a player can't. And
listen, I can't stand up in front of all my employees and say, this is my political belief. I can't do that.
No,
I
but
can
that-
talk one-on-one. That's about it.
yeah, but that's different. You're doing that in a work setting.
That's his work setting.
No, it's his stage. That's his stage.
Yeah, but
That's his stage.
It's his stage.
It's
for the
his
purpose-
show.
But
You
the
can't.
purpose-
You can't tell him what to sing or
I didn't-
say.
I didn't say you can't do it.
But that's what I'm
I didn't say
saying.
you can't do it. Now that I know he's going to do it, I don't go.
Okay, but it's not that it's wrong.
I didn't say it was wrong.
It's American.
I didn't say it was wrong. I didn't say he can't do it. I just said I
it's as
choose to not
American
go.
as it is.
That's and I'm American as it is to not go.
You can't just overlook it.
I don't want it.
Whether
I don't
you
like
agree
it
or
because I'm
disagree
trying to
with
get
it.
away from the politics. Because politics is a nasty thing, right? And so when you're hearing, to me, music is a beautiful thing. So now he's blended.
So why didn't you come here and talk music with me for an hour instead of politics? Damn it! The hell are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
I had to do this for 4 months with no sports. Now you brought it back for an hour.
Listen,
here.
we went way off the rail. You're probably never going to talk to me again.
You know, we haven't even talked about the Kentucky Derby, man.
The Derby's gonna. There's a good horse in the Derby, but I can tell you, look, sports is different this year. Every single sport, the NHL, the
Everything's
NBA,
like bastardized.
It's all weird, and baseball. There's a million teams making the playoffs, and
It's September. This thing was supposed to be run in May. You know?
Yeah.
By the way, Pat in Nashville says, Steve, you just did at work.
No, not to my employees.
Yeah,
not to my employees.
He's right.
Not to my employees.
He's right.
You're right. I probably shouldn't be talking politics sitting here. I should be talking. We're open. We're open.
Probably. Yeah. In your position, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Man. What's the hours for the weekend? So if folks want to come out here Saturday and Sunday.
We open at 9 a.m. Unfortunately, we've got to respond. We've got to close at 9:30 due to respecting the curfew. But come on out. It's a great time. We've still got the greatest slot machines. We've got the greatest staff.
And poker's not open yet?
Poker's open. Poker's open, and we're seven-handed.
Okay.
And we're seven-handed this weekend.
Poker. Okay. All right.
And that's a good thing.
All right. Good stuff. Steve, as always, thank you, my brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thank you,
As always. A couple of super chats. Myron sending in. He says, hey, thanks for the great conversation. Black Lives Matter. I'm praying to God to change this regime on this country. Julius 305 says, great show today. Even Omar. With Omar Kelly. Let's see what else. And one more, Anthony Perez. Thank you also, sir, for sending in another super chat. Let me thank those super chatters, Robert Triana, Kenneth Cleveland, Myron did a double duty there, Dougie Fresh twice also, Cookie Vice, Julius 305, Jesse Minneapolis, Julius 305 twice also, I'm sorry, and Anthony Perez also chiming in. We thank our guests today, as always, Omar Kelly, Anthony Chang, Kurt Heelan, and Steve, of course, for joining us here on the program. Appreciate all of you out there that are watching, that are downloading the show, and incredible numbers. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And we will see you on tomorrow. We will be at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. I was almost feeling like this is a Friday.
Time out, man. We're only 9 minutes away from making it an even 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Let's go for it. Come on. We've only done an hour and 14 minutes here. Only an hour and 14.
Yeah, we've done 5 hours and 50 minutes of radio. There we go. That's what it says here on the watch.
Only
5 hours and 50. It's 5:50. We've done 5 hours and 50 minutes, which means I'm done. All right. I gave you a quarter of a day of programming. We're out of here. You guys be good out there. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Everybody stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. We'll see you tomorrow. Regular time, 11 o'clock.
Don't fart in the room.
This is the